It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's, we made it to Friday. Thank God it is Friday. So, big plans for everybody? I mean, has everybody got something going on, or is it just me? Because I got the thing tonight, and then I volunteer with Special Olympics tomorrow, so, like, my next couple days are mapped out.
You got stuff going on.
I do, man. I'm busy.
Pretty relaxed around my place.
I wish I were a little more relaxed. Rhino, what about you?
Nothing exciting planned. I'm hoping to maybe catch the Braves-Dodgers game tonight if it doesn't rain. We'll see how that goes. But I talked girlfriend Erin to going out with some girlfriends for dinner, and then maybe go watch some live music so that I could maybe take in a Braves game.
That's awesome. Y'all, this thing that happened in Alpharetta is crazy to me.
Crazy wild story.
The craziest story I've ever been a part of, and I say I'm a part of it only because I know the man that was shot and killed in downtown Alpharetta. His son and my son played baseball together for 3 years in high school, and we remained in touch. You know, it's very loose. Mm-hmm. You know, you see people that you played ball with or whatever, you see them. Sure. When we would usually see them in downtown Alpharetta, just, hey, they're out to dinner, we're out to dinner, everybody's hanging out, have a drink, whatever, and go about your way. They just came back from, he and his wife just came back from a trip to Europe. I think their last post was in front of the Colosseum in Rome. And it was like August 26th, and I even pointed out to my wife. I remember showing my wife that, like, look, Tiffany and Justin have gone to Rome. Look at this and how cool this is. And Jason Momoa, I don't know if it was because Jason Momoa was in town that brought more people to downtown. I assume the answer is yes. Because downtown was full. Downtown Alpharetta was full.
Really?
On Wednesday night when Momoa was in downtown. He was bar hopping, right? He's got a new vodka out, promoting it. And Awesome Alpharetta, the great visitors bureau for the city of Alpharetta, was helping promote it. And it was just this cool thing. So I assume more people are downtown than usual. I don't know. And yesterday when I got home, a friend of mine sent me this link to a news story, and it says Justin Morning has been killed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This is 8 minutes from my house.
It's tragic.
8 minutes from my house. Completely tragic. And at the time, they said they didn't have the guy in custody. He was on a motorcycle. They had a little bit of a snap, what looks like maybe a monitor or camera monitor, whatever. They pulled a screenshot from it. You can see some patches on a sleeve of the motorcycle, or the jacket of the guy on the motorcycle who was accused of doing this. And then late last night, they tell us that they indeed caught the dude, and it's an 18-year-old kid. I'm sorry, 21-year-old kid that lives in Milton. Yeah. So it had nothing to do with all the people in downtown, which is what I had thought. 21-year-old kid from Milton, Georgia. And to make this even crazier, a dear friend of ours, probably our best friends, their brother-in-law was his high school football coach at Centennial High School.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Just the layers around this is shocking. And the story is shocking that they had an altercation. Justin and this kid had an altercation, just exchanging words, whatever. And it ends up with him being shot and killed in the middle of the street in downtown Alpharetta.
And not only that, yeah, I mean, it has tragic. I don't know what's wrong with our children, because 21 years old to me is still a child.
Yeah. My son's 20, and I would 100% agree with that.
He drove down the middle of downtown Alpharetta and fired multiple shots. It wasn't just one shot or where he was, going directly after. He could have taken out a lot of people in that rage, which is, thank God he didn't, because that's something you'll never see in Alpharetta. I've been reading the news stories along, especially after you sent that one, but kept reading, and it's part of my headlines this morning as well. And this would never happen in Alpharetta. We never have known this to be something. I mean, I'm sure there's been a shooting here and there.
Yeah, but like 5 or 6 years ago, there was a couple, they were in a divorce or hard, whatever, and the man shot the woman in the parking lot of a bank, maybe like a Wells Fargo, I believe. The details are shaky, but I remember that almost stopping the entirety of the city. No one could believe it. Yeah. No one could believe it happened, and yet it is. And
the stupidity, though, of being 21 years old, deciding to do what you're going to do because you think you're going to get away with it because you're on a motorcycle, right? Everybody's free. Everyone's totally cool. Mm-hmm. Your life's over.
It is. It is.
While ending somebody's life, and so your life is over.
And so my son has been in contact with Justin's stepson who raised him. He's a student down at Georgia Southern University, and we're connected on social media, so I'm seeing these posts, and it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, y'all. It gives me cold chills. I cannot believe what is happening in the United States of America. This is just a snapshot of what's happening across America, whether it's Springfield, Ohio, or it's Los Angeles, California, or San Francisco, or New York City, or Miami, Chicago, you name the city. We can't escape it. We have to be brave enough to take this head on. This cultural rot that's happening in America.
I think that's the most important thing you said. Cultural rot. This isn't about a race. This isn't about a sex or who you sleep with or any of this. This is about a cultural problem that we have that's not only in inner cities, it's everywhere. And we see it all the time. Our children are mentally challenged right now with some illnesses, and maybe, we're the reason for it. The people, we obviously are. I mean, everybody takes part in this. Now, do I think that you, me, or Carlos, facilitate that? No, I'm saying, families need to talk to their children. I mean, this is so important right now. And I don't know Jaden Lewis. He's 21 years old. I don't know his family. I don't know how he was raised.
I don't either.
But there is something going on where our children, our young people, 21 and under, are walking around with guns thinking that they have the option to do whatever they want, whenever they want.
And there's no consequences. But they've been taught there's no consequences.
Exactly.
They said if you steal under $1,000, that's all good. They've been taught there's no consequences. We continue to teach people there are no consequences. You don't raise Liam like that. I don't raise Jacob like that. Lowe's doesn't raise his girls like that. But there are many people in America that are teaching their kids every day by their actions, maybe not their words, but their actions, that there are no consequences.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you're stealing or you're shooting somebody in the middle of a street in downtown Alpharetta, Georgia, there are no consequences. That's the way they believe, and that's the way they behave.
We've taken that idea that there are no consequences away and allowed that to really facilitate in these kids' head. It's scary what's going on, and you're right. I talk to my son every single day, and, most of it is just, hey, I love you. How was school?
Sure.
What's going on in school? But those questions are asked for a good reason. He's going to be the first person to tell me if something wasn't right in school, if he was bullied. And Carlos has been through this with his daughters. If you're talking to your children, you'll know their mindset. You'll know how they're feeling. And I feel like we've lost connection with our own children. We allow them to get on these games and play games all day, whether they're on Discord, and that's okay sometimes. But if you're not talking to your kids and finding out what's happening through those games, or watching social media, or knowing whether or not they're carrying guns around, we've got a huge problem.
Well, the shooter, Jaden, was such a mastermind that he decided to pop off some shots in downtown Alpharetta that doesn't have enough cameras as it is, and it took all of 12 hours for them to catch your ass. All right? What a moron. You think we had Sherlock Holmes in on this one? No, we didn't. Not at all. In fact, when you're sitting at some point rotting your sorry ass off in jail at 21 years old, they're going to be like, how'd they catch you? Well, I decided to shoot in downtown Alpharetta. Really, dude? This is what you decided? This was your master plan to deal with some argument? And sometimes these people, at times, don't deserve, it's a tragic situation. But he doesn't deserve any of your sadness
or your sympathy.
This isn't some degradation of society on a certain level. Sometimes stupid people do stupid stuff, and he's a dumbass.
And he's a complete dumbass. Y'all.
So put him away. That's all.
I can only tell
you later
about the kind of guy Justin was. Just the most kind. I never saw the guy without a smile on his face. I remember spending the latter part of my son's junior year. They went to the state playoffs in baseball at Alpharetta. They played down in Colquitt County. Should have won down there, didn't. Hayden, Justin's stepson, was the catcher on the team. Jacob played center field and led off. And we stayed in the same hotel. We went to dinner. We went to lunch every day. We went to dinner every day. We watched the kids play. They played 2 games on the Friday night, I believe. Maybe it was Saturday. I think it was Friday night. And then Saturday they played the 3rd game. Ultimately, Alpharetta loses and goes home. And I remember seeing him, because it was his stepson that he's raised, in tears with his stepson, because Hayden wasn't going on to play baseball anymore. That was his last game. I'm gonna get choked up talking about it. That was the last game this kid was going to play, man. And it's baseball. It doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of life. But Justin's life did.
Yeah.
Justin's life mattered. And, y'all.
It's heartbreaking, man.
It is.
It is. A father who was taken away from a stepson that, he raised. He didn't have to be a father, but he wanted to be, and that's more important than actually having to be a father. The fact that he wanted to be there for his son, and now he can't. And the fact that a 21-year-old can't recognize that he would never want to have to deal with the loss of his father. He would want to see his father, to see all his accomplishments as he grew older, and we can't make that thought and come to the forefront of our mind when we're in an argument. We've got a big problem, and guns are not the answer in any way whatsoever to solve an argument. Guns are there to protect ourselves, not to go ahead and take out your anger on someone else and use them as an offense. That's the biggest problem with what we have.
Oh, hold on. Jaden Lewis got to represent, man. That's what he got to do. He made sure.
He got to be a tough guy.
He made sure that night he got to show everybody just how big and strong and tough he is.
And now he's going to be somebody's bitch in the jailhouse.
That's right.
Yep. Someone failed him too.
Yeah,
someone failed him. And I'm with Carlos. I don't feel sorry for him. At 21 years old, you should be able to make a decision for yourself that's a stupid decision. I had a weapon from the time I was 18 on. It never came to me to, number one, bring it to an area where I would take it out and shoot it just to solve an argument. It's always there for defense. In fact, I've never shot at anyone except for a target or at an animal that, was either attacking or I was going to eat. That's the only reason I have my weapon. Now, if the government comes after me and it turns into, something where I need it to defend myself against the government or a break-in or something else, it's going to be there for that reason. But otherwise, it's never, ever crossed my mind to take it, brandish it, show anybody that I'm tough because I have a gun. And that's where this 21-year-old thought, hey, I'm tough. I've got a gun, and I'm not afraid to use it. And he wasn't. And he took away the life of a 46-year-old father.
Those saloon doors you see in the Old West?
Yeah, and on Bugs Bunny, too.
Yeah, we're about a year, maybe 18 months away from that being Jaden's booty.
Yeah, no kidding.
So enjoy the next 50 years of your life as you're locked away.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. I hate to start the show with that, but I just had to get it off my chest.
But
and I think that's what we do is talk about just
like saloon doors.
Yeah, it's just like
wide open.
I'm telling you.
No, but I mean, I think it is important to talk about this. This is something that happens in our community. It's a local story. This is why we're here at Xtra 106.3 is to talk about a lot of national stuff, but also to talk about local and what we can do to be better and what we can do to facilitate voting for things that we need. And if this is a subject that we need to talk about, we need to find a solution so these things do not happen again. So that's why we need to talk about these things. And it's sad. And I think that's important too, because I think people need to understand your emotion behind this. Not only was Justin taken away from his family, which is the most tragic part of this story, he's taken away from a community that he belonged in.
The problem is that, and I always tell this to my daughters at times, I'm like, listen, there's a lot of times where dumb will ruin your day.
Absolutely.
Well, dumb will ruin your life, too. You always have to be on the lookout for dumb because we are surrounded by dumb. Right? There's a whole lot of dumb, and you've always got to be on the lookout for it because you don't know when dumb is going to act dumb.
That's exactly right, man. And it will continue. And I think that is why it's so important, Lowe's, when you bring up the fact that you need to get involved. You have to be involved in your Department of Education, your school boards, your county commissions, your city councils, because it is you and maybe the people that you support and the people that are around you that will make the rules for your community. And you are the best barrier to anything that might come down the pipe for the crazy people in Washington, D.C. that are there to get their hand greased. And maybe they went there originally for good intentions, but not many of them keep those good intentions. What happens on the ground, the people that you go to church with, the people that you go to dinner with, people that your kids play ball with, those are the people that can dictate what happens to you and your family in your community.
But that's also part of what Alpharetta is as a community. This mastermind got away with it for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right around in there, maybe a little bit less. They already knew his name. They already had the images. Because in Alpharetta, they actually enforce these things. Had you done it in another part of town, who knows? Okay, but that's where you hold your area of society up in a different way. Doesn't mean that dumb ain't gonna visit your area of the world, because it will. It's gonna happen. But you need to make it a point within your little part of the world that this is not tolerated.
Yes, I think that's the most important part too. Is I hope that Alpharetta will come together, because there needs to be more talk about what happened. Because I think that's, rather than just saying 21-year-old Jaden Lewis was arrested and put in jail, we need to have press conferences talking about these things and explain why Jaden Lewis made the most horrible decision of his life.
Because he's a dumbass.
And that and I think we need to throw the book at him and explain. He is no longer ever going to be able to do anything, ride a motorcycle or do anything he loves. He'll never be able to wear that same jacket. He'll never be able to see his friends. We are going to put him away for life because we will not stand for this. So think twice. We need to start talking to these young kids and letting them know there are true consequences. And we need to make sure these consequences are followed through. We can't play games anymore with it's racism, which is why they're getting jailed. No, people are getting jailed because they're doing things wrong. People are getting pulled over by police because they're doing things wrong. We have to stop this mentality of it's okay to be violent, because it is getting worse every single day. I don't care what they say about crime numbers. They're hiding what they can. They're not prosecuting who they can. We need to put a stop to this, and we need to talk to these kids and tell them enough's enough. You do not need to lose your life. You need to be a part of this society, not an anti-part.
Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. God bless our communities, all of them, here in Metro Atlanta. I hope this is the last time we hear this, but unfortunately, I know it's not. When we continue on Xtra 106.3, how did the debate get so sideways? I think we have a pretty clear answer. Next on the Morning Xtra.
Xtra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Xtra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Xtra 106.3 FM, and listen across Georgia on the Xtra app.
Went down to CHOA yesterday And it was a fine time to be down at the new Arthur Blank Hospital that they're opening up at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. It was incredible. It was a great experience to be down there because we've all used Children's for our kids, grandkids, and we were able to hand them over another big old Happy Gilmore-style check. Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning have donated $20,000 to CHOA. In the last 4 years, $20,000, and that's all with their Christmas in July program they run. You may probably remember me talking about it at least, or have heard of it, where when you sign up for a maintenance agreement, they would donate $10 from every agreement to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. That has generated $20,000 in the last 4 years. So good job to Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, Kristen, who puts it all together for him. And you for participating. When you need a maintenance agreement, go to the people that support your community, like Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning do. Go with them, because if you get your system maintained, it lasts longer, and then you won't have to replace it. But if you ever do, get one of those brand new Carrier systems that are top of the line. You get Carrier peace of mind when you work with Atlanta's Carrier experts. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Your Atlanta Braves are down to the final few series of the regular season, and they need you at Truist Park when the Dodgers come to town, September 13th through the 16th, followed by the Mets, September 24th through the 26th. Fans can look forward to some great giveaways, including the kids' rubber shoe charms for the first 3,000 kids, and the City Connect replica jersey presented by Xfinity for the first 15,000 fans. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase tickets starting at $9. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey everybody, it's Neil Bortz, an actual attorney spokesperson for Van Sant Law. Notice the heavy traffic out there? Yep, school's back in session. Things can happen. Sometimes people aren't that careful. Maybe an accident. But David Van Sant, he's there to help smooth the way for you if somebody you love gets hurt. Call Van Sant Law at 855-GA-INJURY. 855-GA-INJURY. First call after 9/11, Van Sant Law. 855-GA-INJURY.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, September 13th. 21-year-old Jaden Lewis of Milton was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault for the killing of 46-year-old Justin Mourning. Lewis is accused of opening fire while riding a motorcycle through downtown Alpharetta, striking Morning with gunfire. Morning was taken to the hospital where he later died. Investigators found multiple shell casings at the scene and believe the shooting stemmed from an argument. 2 Edwards Middle School employees were arrested after a security check. Rockdale County Sheriff's deputies arrested teacher Paul Schwartz and charged him with 2 counts of bringing a weapon onto school grounds after he was found in possession of 2 razor blade knives. His son Paul Schwartz Jr., a contracted staff member, was charged with making threats. The school was briefly placed on lockdown. Rockdale County Schools stated that neither man is still employed at the school. The Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park tonight to open a 4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves, who are now in 3rd in the NL East, 1 game back of the Mets for the final wildcard spot, will have rookie Spencer Schwallenbach on the mound tonight. First pitch scheduled for 7:20. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
ABC debate moderator Lindsay Davis has been bragging and boasting about being Kamala Harris's sorority sister. Interesting that they would have her sorority sister be the moderator in the debate. No way to put your finger and tip the scale on that one, huh? So you had a media that despises Donald Trump to begin with. You put him in there with 2 people who are not objective whatsoever. It'd be like putting Kamala Harris in front of us. We would rip her to shreds because we know what she does is fail and fail forward even. Then you think about the woman who runs ABC News being Kamala Harris's best friend and the network in general being mega donors to the Democrat Party. That's what sets up for what happened on ABC News on Tuesday night. Donald Trump was like, dude, I feel like I have to do this. I've got to go in front of the people because this is the only opportunity for her to be heard. And the more people hear her, the less they like her. But as we discussed earlier, Los, I mean, this is something that Donald Trump's got to control if there is another debate, a next debate.
Well, the strategy session wasn't really about winning because you're going into the lion's den. It was just getting her to talk in front of, what was the number you had?
60 million.
60 million people. That was the goal. That was the only goal. And so, yeah, did you want the knockout blow? Sure. I don't think there was any way that was going to happen given the nature of the structure of what they were doing and then the games that were being played with it. But you got her to talk in front of the American people for 90 minutes, and hopefully that 30-some% of people that say, I need to learn more about her, went, yeah, I don't really like her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I sure didn't learn anything from her as well. Yeah, 60 million people is a lot of people. You want to get in front of that. And you know what? The good thing about Kamala Harris, for Kamala Harris, not for the American people, is that the media covers up her lies and doesn't fact-check her lies. It takes somebody like the Federalist or somebody far out to fact-check those lies. But she's smart enough to know, my voters are idiots. I mean, we've lied to them about the president. Every single one of you could look. I don't blame her for lying. If you can't tell that Joe Biden couldn't walk upstairs or wasn't there, then why would she? You fell for all her tricks. I mean, look, Aunt Peg, Uncle Chip, you guys just fell for every single lie she told you. Then you parroted it out there. So I don't blame her for telling lies. All of them. Keep doing it. It's winning for you.
Yeah, it drives me up the wall. But
your base won't check you?
No, by no means. But it went through the Federalist, which is a great website. And if you don't visit it, I encourage you to. They do great work over there. They went through a bunch of the lies that she went with, and they put at one of the ones that they put on there is the Project 2025 thing, and I think that's worth discussing because the moderators, though they were fact checking, they didn't take the time to fact check the fact that Donald Trump has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Heritage Foundation wrote it. Nothing to do with it. Donald Trump has said it out loud over and over and over. He has his own platform. Yeah. The RNC adopted his platform. ABC and Lindsay Davis, Kamala Harris's sorority sister, knew that had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Yet, those fact checkers, those moderators at ABC had no problem sitting on their hands and being silent as that lie was repeated and parroted over and over and over again.
And Carlos, I thought it was funny because the writers of Project 2025 sat down and were asked that question by mainstream media, and they said, No, Donald Trump had nothing to do with this. Donald Trump didn't give us any ideas into it. This is our wish list of what we would want Donald Trump to do. Did we bring in advisors that work with Donald Trump? Yeah, absolutely, because we're hoping that we can get his ear and say this is what we want, but he hasn't responded to us at all. That was mainstream media that did that interview. They buried it because they continue down this lie of Project 2025, Kamala Harris says, because, again, she knows her base are a bunch of sheep and will listen and parrot that propaganda, and it works for her.
There's always going to be a reaction that is unanticipated. And so when you realize that you're up against the media wing of the Democrat arm, that's all the media is. They're just Democrats, and they're just trying to pull for their own. When you recognize you're in the scenario that Donald Trump found himself in, I thought the comedian Dave Smith, who's a noted libertarian, he speaks at all libertarian meetings, he had pointed out, when you are so blatant in what you're doing to Donald Trump, you actually build his street cred.
Yeah, that's right.
That.
Yeah.
You now have people that were like, man, he was getting railroaded by those people. Yeah, I can't stand the machine. You actually did something where in the moment you thought, look what we did to him. We won that debate. Look at how it went. Yet the regular people in America who are saying, I'm looking for policy, I'm looking for answers, you actually built his street cred for them.
No different, Rhino, than when the mugshot came down. And you were the person that said it, dude. This is going to do more for him than anything else that they can do, because this is going to give it almost an image to go to, and now it's on T-shirts and it's on beer cans. It became iconic, almost like the raising the fist in the air after the shooting there in Butler, Pennsylvania on the 13th of July.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they have never taken into consideration, and that's why Los is so right about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the mugshot propelled him like we said it would, and it propelled him with a group that he wanted to bring over to his side and say, hey, listen, you'll be better off under me, don't believe their lies, and bring them over here. But this has been also the eye-awakening or the eye-opening moment for a lot of people who may have been in between or been really mad at Donald Trump, even though they're Republicans, when they see the weaponization come to fruition. That mugshot reminded people that this is a weaponization. Every time that he gained in the polls, what happened? He was indicted on something else. When he announced that he was going to run, indictment. They never would have done this. It shows, and I hope that they sentence him in September 18th. I hope they sentence him. They're probably going to push it off, but I hope they do, because I think it will propel him to get into the White House once again.
Then sorority sister of Kamala Harris, Lindsay Davis.
I love that you keep calling her
that.
That's
what she is. She boasted about it. She bragged about it. Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we point it out? Because she certainly did. She was asked whether she supported any restriction on abortion. And, of course, Kamala Harris didn't answer the question. She just said she wanted to reinstate Roe versus Wade. But that's not true. She pledged to sign legislation called the Women's Health Protection Act, and that would codify abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. And then in her past, she's co-sponsored all kinds of legislation. She voted against protections for babies after being born alive after botched abortions. You know who else did that? That would be her running mate, Tim Walz.
Ooh.
And if you look, ABC News reported this. Minnesota does not prohibit abortion based on how far along a woman is in pregnancy. Los, you brought it up too. 8 babies that were born in botched pregnancies that were actually born, and they were allowed to lay on the table and die.
You know, you talk about viability, and that is where some of these states they're just gross. I was going through a Gallup poll where it had basically 69% of Americans believe abortion should be legal. But when you looked into and got deeper into this thing, there was only about 19% of people that thought that a third trimester abortion should be legal. That was it. Mm-hmm. And so when you start to see, like Charlie Kirk had a video from last night, there's a woman activist, Christian Hawkins, and she is basically arguing with these pro-abortion people, and they're saying, no, that can't happen. There's no such thing as late term. She calls up an abortion clinic and lines out an appointment at 34 weeks, and she's like, see what just happened there? Mm-hmm. And it takes stuff like that for them to go, am I on the side of gross? Because I want to be on the side of legality, but I'll never be on the side of disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, the lies about it is the only reason that it's even an issue to me. I don't care about abortion. It's not an issue when it's for a president. Now, personally, do I care about it?
No,
yeah,
I know, but I know
what I mean, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
when it comes to an election issue, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect most of
the economy,
America.
the border, and all those things do immediately.
And it's already been settled. Right now, you can go to California and you're either going to get shot or you can abort your baby. Either way you want to do it, go for it. It's up to you. You can go in front of the DNC during a convention, jump into a mobile vehicle, and go ahead and get an abortion. Those things have not been taken away. It's an issue that doesn't matter to me, but it is an emotional issue for them. But it's a lie, and she'll lie about it and pretend. You know what she won't tell you about abortion? She won't tell you where they put the clinics. She won't say, hey, Planned Parenthood was found on eugenics, and the reason that they put these clinics in black neighborhoods is because they want black people to abort babies. Because Janet Yellen, a Democrat, will tell you black people will never get out of poverty. Because the real party of racism, she said it on TV.
We watched it.
Yes, the reason they need abortion is because black people will never find their way out of poverty. That's your Democrat Secretary of the Treasury. So enjoy that. But the reality is they won't talk the truth about abortion. They won't talk the truth about personal responsibility. They want you to cry. They want you to feel a certain way, even though they know that abortion is killing more babies because people are just irresponsible rather than rape, incest, or the life of the mother.
Well, it's just weird that you can't get Kamala Harris to even go with something so mainstream as I believe abortion should be legal, but late-term abortion I'm not in favor of. That's basically where she was at. And that's why she was pressed on that. And that's why her sorority sister helped her run from that question. Because to have to articulate it, she knows there's a portion of their voting bloc that are grossly insane about it and believe it should be on demand at any point. And that just doesn't fly with most of America.
And those horrible faces that she made. Because if Donald Trump would have stood there and made faces the way she did, he would have been lambasted the next day and today and throughout the next week. She made these almost cartoon-like faces, and one of the times she did that was when Donald Trump said she even raised money to bail out the rioters who burned down Minneapolis, Minnesota. And of course she denied it. She rolled her eyes. She did all of those things.
Put her hand on her other hand.
Absolutely.
Look at me.
And then
what theatrics.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard had said she is almost like a person running for office, but trying to get a part in a movie. Listen to what she said.
Were you surprised how the moderators heavily weighted the debate?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think it was what we should all have expected. We see how these people operate. You look at the comments that Muir has made. You look at the comments that Lindsay Davis has made. Their bias was baked in from the very beginning because they're not real journalists.
Yeah.
They are essentially these political operatives whose job it is to try to distract away from Kamala Harris's record, distract away from the serious issues that we face. Not a single question was raised about how are you going to prevent the destruction of our country and the world from nuclear war, which we are closer to than ever before. And on the eve of the Islamist terrorist attack on 9/11, they did not raise a point, a question, or a challenge about how either of these candidates will stem the spread of this radical Islamist ideology around the world and in our own country here at home, and how you would prevent this threat from continuing to grow. So they were not at all interested in informing the American people about the truth about anything. We can expect that they will continue to be propagandists for Kamala Harris.
I mean, absolute, because no one challenged her when Donald Trump said she raised money to bail out those rioters. And if you go and look at her social media, 2020, she encouraged all of her social media followers, donate to the bail fund dedicated to those arrested for 2 months. $2 billion of damage was done. And she is not raising money for the people whose businesses burned down.
Nope.
But just the rioters. Of course, that's just the way it goes. That's what she does. That's how she operates. Know that ahead of time. Tell others what is happening and why it's so important that she is never elected. The Democrats, they've got a strategy to cover up their socialist and communist dreams. We'll tell you how to combat it next on Extra 106.3.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 1063 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 1063 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a hand-picked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
Have you considered securing your family's future? Protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademark Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you are absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
When you're leaving the house, do you plead with your garage door? Please open, please open. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. Let us take that anxiety away with one quick call. Our highly trained technicians will get to the bottom of your garage door issues. It could be a simple repair, a malfunctioning opener, or maybe just needs a tune-up. But if it's time for your garage door to be replaced, we'll make that easy too with upfront pricing and free estimates. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages. Shooting drills.
A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve. But one who genuinely cares about each player
have what it takes. We got this.
Can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 1063.
You know, we all complain about the internet, but sometimes we should remind ourselves that it has made life so much easier in many, many ways. And let me give you an example. Blinds.com. Tanya and I remember pushy salespeople coming to our house, waiting all day for them, usually late, usually very pushy. Blinds.com has created a completely virtual consultation, free sample sent right to your door. You never have to deal with a salesperson at your home, and you're never waiting. Whether you're a DIY warrior or you prefer to use their professional installation services, you can count on Blinds.com to deliver top quality window treatments, and you can get unlimited custom window treatments installed with just one low cost. It's all at Blinds.com. There's never any hidden fees or showroom markups. The price you see on the website is the price you pay. Ordering online can be scary, but not with Blinds.com. 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you're not happy with the style or the color or the fit, they'll work to make it right. Shop Blinds.com right now. Save 50% site-wide, 50% off at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and The Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
App is the best way to listen to The Morning Extra, but there are other ways as well. 106.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., streaming at extra1063.com. And you can also watch us on the YouTube channel. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10, then Beck, Clay, and Buck in the local afternoon show with the Kimmer. Democrats, Los, have a strategy, and they use this strategy. They employ this strategy to make sure that no one realizes just how socialist, just how communist they are.
Get ready for the next 7 weeks, because the strategy is now very clear, very simple. No matter what you bring up when it comes to Kamala Harris and her policies, there will be one simple answer. Liar. Okay?
Sounds familiar.
And it really doesn't matter how this goes. If Rhino was to make it a point, in 2019, you talked about a gun buyback program. You reiterated it as of 2 weeks ago and making it mandatory. You will be told you're lying.
You're lying.
Okay? It doesn't matter.
But here's the video.
Every single one of them. It does not matter how it's going to be. And so the strategy has become try and confuse the viewer on a regular basis, call everything lies so that they end up treating her, as I said, she's the empty bucket. You put into her what you think she's going to be about, and they say, well, you're correct. So if it's all positive energy, I kind of like what she talks about. Well, good. That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm a little bit concerned about her tax policies and maybe her putting in price controls. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's just Trump nonsense.
That's the game. That's how it's going to go the remainder of the way moving forward. And so if we do get another debate, or if we do see her in another interview at any point, just know that no matter what comes out of that, within 24, 48 hours, it'll be, hey, I had a problem with her saying that. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah. I would think that it would open people's minds up. That's what I like about what's being fact-checked on social media right now, especially on X, because what you're seeing is, and again, you have people who are very far left-leaning. We see all the Kamala Harris, all the Krasensteins and all them, all the people that are paid by, Democrats to go ahead and push out this propaganda as well. What we do see is the truth come out. We do see the video of her saying, I want a mandatory gun back. That's a good thing, because I think people who are looking at that will see the lies. And the one thing that she does, and I don't think we'll get another debate, but the one thing she did in the debate was she avoids those topics that she knows she's lying about. She changes it to, we got to move forward. We got to move forward and away from this. We got to get away from, don't look back. And that's the whole object of them. No one else is going to fact check them. We know the media is no longer a journalistic enterprise. We know that it's an opinionist enterprise and a propaganda enterprise, because if they were true journalists, then they would go out there and go, hey, this is the truth. We're going to fact check this. The fact is, she did say, yes, mandatory. That means mandatory. We played the audio cut yesterday. They would go back and say, no, here she is in 2020 saying that she is against fracking and will remove fracking if she were to become president. So I just don't expect the media to do the work for you. We know they lie. We need to do the same thing. We need to keep fact-checking them as well.
So I found this to be really interesting, because Tucker Carlson is on his tour right now. And if you're not familiar with what he's doing, he's in different arenas, different places around the country, and he always has a special guest that's with him, depending on where he's at. So, for instance, yesterday, it was Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly. They were in Kansas City. Tomorrow, actually today, it's going to be Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk. They're going to be in Kansas. And so it's always somebody different. He had Dan Bongino as of 2 days ago. And Bongino said something that I was like, wow, you're saying something that we brought up yesterday, and I believe it to be totally true. He said, look at the debate. It really is, when it comes to politics, it's about snippets. And there was not one snippet that you had Kamala Harris bring something up where you went, aha, eureka, that was genius. Whereas you had a whole lot of them where Donald Trump said, yeah, she's lying. Or, oh, yeah, does that sound familiar? Oh, well, why don't we go wake up your boss?
But that's by design, right? Because
yes,
if
very much
because
so.
Because she can be pinned down, right? If she says anything, good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter. She can be pinned down on what she has said, and then it pushed out in that snippet. So I think that's the key ingredient, making sure that people realize That's the reason she talks in such generalities.
Yeah, but you know what? Donald Trump took advantage of knowing that, and so did his team. They knew, listen, when you throw out things, people will see it because they're going to go look for it. Then they might even see the full context of what you said and then get the entire idea. So when, you get the snippet of, well, I'm just going to go ahead and send you a MAGA hat, people are going to go, okay, let me hear what he said. Then they'll hear the beginning of it. Well, what you did was just copy all my policies anyway, so I'll send you a MAGA. And then they'll go, what policies? And then maybe they'll dive into it. That's what you need to do. You need to go ahead and really work the system. And the system of media right now is really obnoxious little quips that lead you to look for that
30 seconds and 1 minute at a time. That's it. All of us sitting down and watching 90 minutes of a debate. All right, we are the exception. And for everyone else in this audience, that's why you're the 1%, because you did the same thing. And so, you take this, totality of 90 minutes and you say, well, here's what I thought about the whole 90 minutes. Understand the rest of everybody else watched 30 seconds or 45 seconds or a minute and a half on YouTube or Twitter or anywhere else. Mm-hmm. That's the nature of what goes on.
Right. Yeah, and depending on what it was or who you're with, you're watching different video clips of that. But I think most of the people who are supporting Kamala Harris are actually getting the quips of Donald Trump. So they're getting those, and they have to look for further videos because they're going to be cut down by the Krasensteins of the world or the JoJos from Jersey to have just that one little snippet that they want to take out of context. But I think a lot of people will search out the bigger videos, which is the important part.
Man, Rhino, you're going to have a big decision to make here in about 10 days. Because you can only do one. So you're going to have Tucker Carlson in Fort Worth, Texas with Roseanne Barr. Who's on your
list.
She's on the list.
She's on my list.
But 2 days later in Greenville, South Carolina, it's going to be Tucker with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, I mean, you got to one or the other.
Greenville's closer.
Greenville is
But
closer.
I think I'd kind of want to see Roseanne a little bit unleashed, right? Because she doesn't really hold back at all. And then, unfortunately, I already know what Tug's going to do because on the 28th, the 27th, you're stuck. Over in Sunrise, Florida, that's Tucker Carlson and John Rich.
Big and Rich.
So I know what you're doing.
Yes. You know what? I mean, we're looking for a sponsor right now that will send the show to each one of those, and we'll cover all of them for you. Mr. Dickey, I know, would love to foot the bill, but, if somebody could chip in and help out, I will gladly go and cover all of those events because I love all three of those people.
How cool is that? Just the idea of every single stop, there's somebody different. It's the discussion's going to be similar, but obviously when you have a completely different person, it makes for a completely different show.
Without a doubt, and brings new snippets to be consumed on the internet.
And Bongino was like, understand the way people are consuming politics now. We were different doing it the other day because we sat there for all of it.
And that's why you can get wrapped up in the emotion of what happens and what it looked like on TV, or you can realize that people watch it that way. And look, I'm guilty of it too. You can't help it. It's sometimes when you're drawn in, you're like, oh my God, this is not going well. And yet, when you look back, if you look at the snippets, probably went a little better than you thought.
I think
Certainly
it went
for me.
I think it went a lot better, and I think that Kamala Harris is going to play a game now with this third debate because it really is a third debate for Donald Trump. It's only her second since being installed. The reality is, I think she knows that she lost that, and I think that's part of it. But she also won in my eyes. She got a lot of the media attention. That's the goal. You get the media talking about how great you did and that you won, and their snippets. So I don't think she lost as bad, and I don't think Donald Trump needs to take this third debate. I think it is a toss-up. But I will say this: if these allegations of the ABC whistleblower come true, Kamala Harris is done.
Anybody who thinks it's not true, I think you're being naive, dude. She was fed everything.
You called it, and I still didn't believe it. Now,
no, dude. And look, it's an internal investigation they're asking for. They're deleting emails and texts right there. You're never going to find out. You're never going to find out.
Just so if the audience is just now catching up with this, if you're not aware, there is an internal whistleblower at ABC that says that Kamala Harris and her team were given the questions ahead of time.
It's the only reason it was so clear. She knew and she was rehearsed.
She had the speech ready for each one.
Yes. And when your best friend runs the network and your sorority sisters tossing up the questions. It's just like
no conflict of interest there.
But that's how she avoided the knockout. Exactly. Again, wasn't some shining victory.
All she needed.
All she was trying to do was avoid a knockout.
That was the high watermark. Do not lose like Biden did. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. The Democrats and big media rigged the debate and will rig the election the same way given the opportunity after the Fox News update.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Now, we have a drug problem in this country, both illegal and legal drugs. You watch these advertisements and you get the impression that all you have to do to have a wonderful life is just take this drug. You'll spend your days on ski slopes or the mountains, maybe laying around on the beach. Your hair will always look perfect. You'll have a clean, smooth complexion. Your family life will be wonderful. You'll have more friends than you can count. Your kids won't be fat. Everything is just beautiful. All you have to do is take this drug. And we watch these ads and we sit back and wonder why we have a drug problem. Illegal drugs. Can't you see the thought processes in these kids? Take drugs, happy life.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Join your Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets for Military Appreciation Day on Saturday, September 14th as they take on VMI in Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. And the Jackets take over on down. The tailgate starts at 11:30 a.m. when North Avenue transforms into a hell of a block party driven by Hyundai, including a free concert featuring hit country music artist Chris Lane at 1:30. Tickets start at only $30 and ramblinwreck.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Look, sometimes we all need to step away for a few, especially after too much of this. So Extra 106.3 is hooking up the golfers with 6 rounds of golf all on one card. It's Extra 106.3 on the Fans Green Card.
Not the kind of green card you're thinking.
But instead, it's your free pass to a round of golf with a card at Mystery Valley Golf Club, Stone Mountain Golf Club, Sequoia National, Country Club of Gwinnett, Cherokee Run Golf Club, and Heritage Golf Links. All on one card for just $249. But grab yours now because they'll sell out fast at extra1063.com. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
Yet another problem for Boeing.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A strike at the company already under scrutiny over airplane manufacturing.
Hey, we deserve more. We are doing the job that is required of us, and we need to be compensated fairly.
He's among the workers at Boeing that walked off their jobs after midnight near Seattle, Washington, and in Oregon.
This is the first strike at Boeing in 16 years, and it could throw a major wrench in the company's already fragile supply chain. Overnight, 33,000 Boeing employees agreeing to go on this strike after Boeing and the union had been in contract negotiations this past week.
Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti.
The workers rejected the company's new contract offer because it didn't include the 40% pay hike that they were asking for.
Boeing had offered a 25% pay raise. At a rally in Tucson, Arizona, former President Trump proposed,
as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime.
Now, the former president, who will rally today in another state considered a toss-up in Nevada, also said he'll not debate Vice President Harris again after their Tuesday showdown. She wants another debate. Harris will campaign today in Pennsylvania after two rallies in another toss-up state, North Carolina.
Donald Trump is not fit to be president of the United States and should never again occupy our nation's highest office.
President Biden's going to meet today with Britain's new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. They'll discuss the war in Ukraine amid a threat.
Russian President Vladimir Putin warning NATO is at risk of going to war with Russia. That's if Europe and the United States give the okay for Ukraine to attack Russian territory with long-range Western missiles. President Putin says Moscow would view that as direct participation that would change the very essence of the conflict.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
You're right, and so are we. Welcome to Extra 1063.
Donald Trump is in Nevada, Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania today as we head on this speeding train toward November. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. Yesterday, we talked about that historic spacewalk. That was very fancy. The dude kind of popped his head out, looked like a little gopher hole. I mean, I wanted to be super excited about it, but and Los pointed it out, and I give you full credit, dude. It looks stupid. They did look stupid.
There's a lot of cool things about travel,
and
about the technology that's coming in the future. It's just when it came to that, I said, space is stupid. And just because you're stepping out into it doesn't make it cool.
It's just
getting there and getting back, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah, that part of it, yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
like landing rockets back on platforms, I think looks amazing.
Yeah. I mean, if they went out with like ray guns and attacked some like Mars Attacks kind of aliens, I'd watch all day. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't expect that, but maybe even just getting out and floating around.
But again,
I don't know.
I think this
anything.
I think it's very important for us to, get to the point where we can get out of the spaceship, eventually maybe even walk on like the moon and, put a flag there for real this time, do things outside of like Hollywood gave us the idea of what we could do. Now I say we go ahead and do it.
I love it. Quickly before we get into
the Rhino conspiracy.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I realized just now that I haven't sent you an AI picture of Jesus doing something in a while, and so I think I'm going to send you one
Jesus
of him
popping out of a spaceship
in space.
He doesn't need a helmet though.
No,
that's a good part.
That's exactly right, man. He He is.
I put it on just in case, though.
Yeah, probably. Maybe do one with and one without. You know that.
Okay. Well, I'm making it for you. Listen, it's baking right now on my phone.
It's
baking.
I love that.
Oh, I've got it. Here we go.
Already, I love it. How quickly that popped out.
Oh, look, there it is.
Yes.
Jesus decided to step out of the space.
Dude, that looks awesome.
Yeah, he did it right.
You want a tattoo of that? I'll send it to you.
Yes, your whole back.
I don't know if I'll
No, that'll look good on your whole back.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I mean, it does look cool.
It does look cool.
Yesterday, Boeing's 33,000 production workers voted overwhelmingly to strike. This is after they asked, or the company proposed the 25% pay raise. This is the company that can't get space, astronauts. Good Lord. Get astronauts home from the International Space Station because the equipment, they were just afraid that rocket, is it Starliner? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Starliner. They're afraid that thing couldn't come home with them. They're afraid it's going to kill them on the way home. So. And doors flying off, just
regular passenger jets, by the way.
Now, these people want a 40% raise.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
25% was just too unfair.
This is what we've done, and this is what unions do to corporations. And I'm not saying these workers don't work hard, but what I am saying is products are failing, and the company is failing because of those products. The lawsuits that they're going to face, and they will continue to face because of the door problems they had on their 747s, and I think it was 747s, so don't get upset if it was a 737. But regardless, when you have doors, and look, only one fell off, thank God, and thank God no one died in that, but they had to go back and realize they did everything wrong, and now they have to continue to look, and now you want to raise? You want to raise? I understand, because that's the easy target, is any kind of CEO who leaves the company, or former, executive that may leave the company, gets their bonus check. That's a contract. That's what they worked for. That's how they went to school to get that. I'm sorry. It's just a bad look for these unions after something like Boeing, who's failed in the national level twice.
Yeah, I don't think the CEO deserved the money he got either.
No, I don't either.
Nobody in the organization seems to be know which way's up.
Such a target of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously when the CEO leaves, but whenever these union contracts come up, there is no point where anyone is ever fully happy. Because to the point where people look to bankrupt companies. And the companies will actually jump on board with it because they realize, listen, if you bankrupt me over this deal, then I get to remake these contracts anyway.
Yes. I get to remake the contracts, and guess who still gets their pocket full?
Yep. That's right. The CEOs. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not mad at the workers for wanting to get paid more. I want to get paid more too, but it just seems
strike.
Yeah, right.
I'll turn this mic off right now and go home.
Was the debate rigged? Yes. It was 3v1. Everybody knows it.
But how much further?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That's rigging the debate. I appreciate the calls for the audit by former Clinton advisor Mark Penn. It'll never happen. In a million years, it'll never happen. At least with any sincerity, in my opinion, she was fed the questions. Yes, of course she was. Kamala's best friend runs the network. Her sorority sister was Lindsay Davis, the moderator. This isn't even conspiracy theory type stuff at this point. They're deleting emails, I promise you right now, as you and I are sitting here talking. You're getting ready for work, headed to work. We're sitting here talking on Xtra 106.3 about this story. They're deleting emails and text messages. They are cleansing everything because of this call, because there is a whistleblower and a person that says, I have already given all the information to my lawyer. They're sanitizing it. They're putting it into document form, and it's going to detail how they rigged the debate.
Well, this isn't foreign. Remember, 2016, we had the exact same scenario where Donna Brazile, who was a CNN employee at the time, formerly working with the DNC, she gave all the questions in advance to Hillary Clinton and her team. All right, this is not new. This is just how it kind of goes.
What they do.
Well, part of the big deal, too, is, and hopefully this whistleblower kept all the emails, kept everything that they have and all the information, because you better have good information on this. So that's why you can't really go with that. I don't doubt this story. I probably believe the whistleblower. And I think a lot of people who literally want to take journalism seriously and be journalists are starting to get upset with some of the companies they're working for. You know what we haven't seen? We haven't seen this happen on the other side, basically the Republican side. We have seen it with NPR, where you had someone go, yeah, this is the way we kind of weaponized against it.
He even agreed with everything that they discussed. He was a liberal. And he said 100% of our newsroom.
But integrity's gone.
The integrity is shot, Rhino.
And this will destroy debates. This will destroy any news outlet from ever being able to control a debate. ABC will never be able to host an event again if this is found to be true. But I think the most concerning part of what this whistleblower said is not only that she got the questions, but also that they told her ahead of time that they will not fact check her, but only fact check Donald Trump. That gave her the opportunity to say, so I can go with the fact that I said that I'm not going to go through with fracking. I can say that I never called for mandatory gun buybacks. Okay, cool.
It was 50 million viewers, and ABC set this up in conjunction with Kamala Harris's camp and her campaign. We won't fact check you. We'll only fact check him, and we'll give you the stuff ahead of time if that is all correct by according to what this whistleblower is pointing out. So think about that. We already talked about how it was a made-for-TV moment for Kamala Harris. That's what it was designed to be. And ABC looks at it as, well, we know our audience, and we know what they want to be fed. They want the liberal catnip, so that's what we're going to give them at the expense of Donald Trump. The idea of calling this a debate, it was never a debate. This is a setup.
A 100% setup. And the craziest part is even the New York Times is going, wait, that relationship of extraordinary friends between what's her first name? Her last name's Walden.
Lindsay Shoulderpads.
Yeah, no, that's the debate moderator.
Oh, that one.
I was talking about the lady that runs ABC. And her last name is Walden. Regardless, they are neighbors in Brentwood, outside of Los Angeles. I mean, their husbands are friends, or dear friends. The Waldens donate money to Kamala Harris's political campaigns and have since 2003 when she ran for DA in San Francisco. I mean, everybody sees the writing on the wall. Here's the kicker, though. This is the thing that's going to get lost. Much like the snippets made for TV, Los, most people will never hear this story.
Of course
because it's only people that are dialed in, paying attention to politics, that will ever hear this story. The people that don't will never even know this exists.
Well, if you manage to memory hole an assassination attempt, do you ever think that the fact that they cheated on a debate will see the light of day?
No.
Never.
That's exactly right.
Of course not.
It's not going to. Nothing's going to change about that.
And I think this really highlights something that we can bring it up, and it's hard for people to imagine. Just because you're a billionaire doesn't make you on the inside of everything.
Right.
Like, these people have decided to gang up on Donald Trump, and you think to yourself, well, he's a billionaire. Oh, he's this media mogul. But he ain't inside on politics. And those people treat this game as their own game, and no one else is allowed to be part of it.
Well, partly because even though he's a billionaire, he's not looking to get richer through politics the way they are. What he's trying to do is cut out waste throughout. And that's why what's going to go on with the stopgap motion that Johnson's trying to push through, cutting some of that stuff back is such a threat to both Republicans and Democrats. That's why they're trying to push this through instead of doing 12 appropriations bills. When you hear that New York, okay, this is one of the things they're going through right now. They just approved reparations. I mean, they are going to go ahead. What are they going to? What is part of the deal? To create a park, a walking trail. I mean, in reality, that's what you're going to use, some of the reparation money for. That's kind of waste that you can cut out. But look who makes money on that, whoever's attached to it. That's why he's such an outsider, because even though he's a billionaire, he is going against what politics have become, which is make money for myself.
Absolutely. And use the government to put yourself in a position to make that money. Another thing that got brought up on the debate was how Goldman Sachs is saying that Donald Trump's economic plan's terrible, but Kamala's, that's great because they endorse it. Goldman Sachs said they endorse it, and that's not exactly true. You had the CEO of Goldman Sachs talking about that thing specifically.
Your own economic team, of course, has made news of late suggesting that the bigger boost to growth would come from the Harris economic plan, at least over the first couple of years. She mentioned it last night. You feel the same?
That report, which was mentioned last night in the debate, came from an independent analyst. And it's interesting, Scott. I think a lot more has been made of this than should be. What the report did is it looked at a handful of policy issues that have been put out by both sides, and it tried to model their impact on GDP growth. And the reason I say a bigger deal's been made of it is what it showed is the difference between the sets of policies that they put forward was about 0.2%. Okay, so economy grows. Okay, if you took these particular sets of policies they looked at, and by the way, we have no idea whether these policies, these things that are talked about will ultimately be implemented, what was the growth impact? And the differential was 0.2%. You know, I think our clients are trying to look at what's going on from a policy perspective and make judgments. I think this blew up into something that's bigger than what it was intended to be.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, listen, 0.2% of a percent. I'm sorry, 0.2 of a percent difference. And what that says is that, because remember, Kamala Harris, we got to go back to what she said in the debate, that what Donald Trump put forward would put us $5 trillion more in debt. What she was putting forward would create $5 trillion more to go against the debt. I can tell you right now that kind of swing is not 0.2%. The other thing that I think that people need to understand, and what he said here, is based on their policies, if they were to be implemented. Donald Trump's policies have already been implemented in his first one and worked. Her policies are unconstitutional and will not work because there's no possible way that what she's proposing would actually move forward.
On top of that, the fact that we don't know what most of her policies are. She's not laid out any real policies, so they're going with one arm tied behind their back to begin with, right? Yes. Because nobody knows really what she stands for.
And it's really one of those things where I don't care, what Goldman Sachs says. I understand where they're going with their forecast, but they'll tell you what forecast means, that they can't really predict any of this for 10 years down the road anyway and see the effects. They're guessing on this, but when they throw in the price gouging and the other policies that she's, putting out there, and she puts out, eventually you'll realize, no, it's a losing situation.
This feels a whole lot like Wheel of Fortune, where there's like 20 letters and you have 2 of them.
Right.
And they're like, figure out her policy from here. That's what I'm talking about with
the arm tied behind the back. That's right.
It's what it turns into. It's like, I need more data. Well, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
No more. Sorry. We go to our website. I went to your website. There's not really a whole lot there.
And then what was there was copy and pasted.
Lies. You're lying
back
about
to that,
it.
But that's what it is, Rhino. It's going right back to, well, they're lying. See, they tell you that Donald Trump's policy is going to make America great again, and I got the backing of Goldman Sachs, everything, and no fact checking.
Right.
It's all lies. It's back to the what we talked about last hour, and the fact that they will just pin lies on everything depending on the situation.
Yeah, and they will continue to do that. She doesn't have a policy on energy that would be efficient or really create jobs or actually help the United States sell oil to other countries and become a little bit more energy independent again. She doesn't have a plan for... And this is where people are very mistaken, because they'll be like, oh, they're still creating oil. The only reason they're creating oil is because what the Biden-Harris administration tried to do was get rid of Trump's policies on land leases and permitting. Unfortunately, it was unconstitutional, and it got overturned for them. So now they're stuck with the fact that Trump's policies are still in play. So we're still creating millions of barrels of oil. The difference, what happens here in this country, are the pipelines. When those pipelines are shut down, it's not about oil anymore. It's about getting that oil to a refinery, refining it so that the energy is brokered back into the United States. That's what they're leaving out of this as well. She has no policy that says that she is for fracking, that she's for the refinement, that she's for the permitting or the leasing. It's all opposite of that, even though she hasn't come out with it yet. So Goldman Sachs can't even put that into this formula.
And that's another thing, too. When you talk about shutting down the XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline, you're talking about thousands of really well-paying jobs. Because now, all right, we're going to depend on our regular methods in order to transport this stuff around. But when we start developing Other ways that we're doing it to do it more efficiently, well, first off, it gets to market faster, which means it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be refined faster. And oh, by the way, there's going to be thousands of jobs along the line for a number of years in order to make that happen. Every single time you cancel these things, you're not just reducing the possibility of dropping price, you're also hurting the job market, which are, like I said, again, pretty good jobs tied to these pipelines.
Well, I'll tell you, to put a bow on top of this, your interest payments on the debt increased 30% last year. We just topped the U.S. debt, and the interest on that debt topped $1 trillion for the first time. $1 trillion. Do you want to continue down this financial path with Kamala Harris? Because it's not going to change. The policies will remain. Do not be misled. That is unsustainable. Completely unsustainable. When we continue, we'll hit the headlines. Trump answered the hypothetical third debate question. Trump in his own words next on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
There are a lot of perfectly nice, peace-loving Muslims, and they'll stay that way until their percentage of the population reaches critical mass, at which point it's death to the infidels.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
We changed out our front doors on the house, and I'm telling you, it made an incredible difference. Now, I never thought in a million years it would. My wife told me, and we did this like 5 years ago, my wife told me, she was like, here's what I think I want to do. And I was just like, I don't know. We're going to spend the money to do that? I just can't imagine changing the front doors and it making that big a deal or that big a difference. Turns out it did. And now there's a reason, or at least in my opinion, you should at least entertain doing it as well. You want to upgrade your home? Do it with a elegant front door. What about the windows? Falls around the corner, changing temperatures. I mean, look, we got some cooling temperature. We're only at 79 today. The temperatures are starting to cool down a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not out of the woods yet. We got some warm weather left. Don't be mistaken. But that it works either way, whether it's cold or hot outside, with those energy-efficient windows, those elegant entry doors that changes the entire look of your home. And then the durable patio doors. There's a perfect fit for your home, and Southern Exteriors can deliver it. Plus, take advantage of 0% with no payments for 6 months. Call Southern Exteriors today, 877-9-SOUTHERN, or go to their website, southernexteriors.co. Don't mess up and put .com, because that's not their website. It's southernexteriors.co.
Extra 106.3 and the Warrior Alliance are teaming up to help veterans succeed after military service. Join us on Friday, September 13th at the Warrior Alliance Expanding Our Impact fundraising event with Tug Cowart and special guests Drivin' and Cryin's Kevin Kenny and Atlanta Braves alumnus Sid Bream. Doors open at 5 p.m. and guests are invited to a private celebration party at the Xfinity rooftop to watch the Braves and Dodgers. Tickets and VIP tables include dinner, parking, and the game and are on sale now at thewarrioralliance.org. Supporting veterans means more than just thank you for your service. Sign up today.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Oh man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turf off. Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast's leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Back to school means back to traffic in Atlanta. If traffic mishaps land you in trouble with the law, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from local to federal for any jail in any city. And in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and I saw a statistic recently that jumped out at me. In 2017, home equity grew by a staggering $908 billion in America. That represents a 12% increase year over year. For most Americans, home equity is the biggest chunk of their personal wealth. At realestateagentsitrust.com, we see adult children who seek our help and sell their parents' homes. Often, the home is in a distant city and the condition of the home can be poor. And of course, our agents at realestateagentsitrust.com go above and beyond to help those families sell these homes, and that's a great feeling for everybody involved, including us. But it makes me wonder if there might be a better way. Have you considered looking at the equity you have in your home? It might be smart to sell now and downsize and have that equity to enjoy your golden years. If so, I urge you to go to realestateagentsitrust.com and let one of our agents see what might be possible by leveraging the equity in your home. realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, September 13th. 21-year-old Jaden Lewis of Milton was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault for the killing of 46-year-old Justin Morning. Lewis is accused of opening fire while riding a motorcycle through downtown Alpharetta, striking Morning with gunfire. Morning was taken to the hospital where he later died. Investigators found multiple shell casings at the scene and believe the shooting stemmed from an argument. 2 Edwards Middle School employees were arrested after a security check. Rockdale County Sheriff's deputies arrested teacher Paul Schwartz and charged him with 2 counts of bringing a weapon onto school grounds after he was found in possession of 2 razor blade knives. His son, Paul Schwartz Jr., a contracted staff member, was charged with making threats. The school was briefly placed on lockdown. Rockdale County Schools stated that neither man is still employed at the school. And the Atlanta Braves back at Truist Park tonight to open a 4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves, who are now 3rd in the NL East and 1 game back of the Mets for the final wild card spot, will have rookie Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound. First pitch scheduled for 7:20. As always, you can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Xtra on Extra 106.3. Donald Trump basically says that there's not going to be another debate. We'll let you hear him in his own words in just a minute. But why would there be? Like, what would be the benefit? I can't see any benefit to there being another debate because the cards are going to be stacked against him. Again, it doesn't matter where he goes. The cards are going to be stacked against him. If he gets Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham as a moderator at Fox News, maybe.
I told you he's going to go on X. And it'll be Elon and Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson and Jesse Kelly.
So smart.
So those 4.
Yeah, and that would put him in a situation where he can actually talk to people and not be berated and belittled and fact-checked with fake fact-checkers.
And more viewers and more listeners, by the way.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I definitely would not do a 3rd debate. If you feel like you won that debate, and that's up to him and his mind, and there are polls that show that, a lot of people move that way. It depends on what audience you are looking for. See, the left thinks they won the debate. The far right thinks that Trump won the debate. And the middle is the one who's making the decisions. And based on some of the numbers that I've seen out of some of the snap polls and exit polls, Donald Trump might have won that debate based on that alone. Because I think a lot of people said, well, I didn't really hear anything from Kamala Harris. I have no way to move forward. You will hear from Donald Trump. But I think I agree with you guys. Do it on X. Do it with Elon Musk again. Well, maybe not Elon. The problem with Elon, and I love him, is that he's so brilliant. He doesn't have really that charismatic, like, interview conversation style. No, but yet Donald Trump can have a. When you saw him with, like, he had a better conversation with Theo Vaughn than I thought he did with Elon Musk. But that's only because Musk is so deep in his thinking that it comes off as, and he stammers and stutters a lot. It's very hard to listen to. But if he were to go on Tucker again, or they were to do something, I think that's the best bet for him.
The only thing about sitting with Tucker is anybody in the middle that dismisses Tucker. I don't know that they're going to.
Tucker's the devil.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's plenty of people that that believe.
Well, actually, they're all the devil at this point. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much just how it goes.
Exactly right. So maybe.
I mean, who else would you have? You know what I would love to see? I'd love to see Trump do his own. I would love to see Trump have. My ideal strategy, if I were the campaign, would say, hey, you know what? We're going to have a round table, and I'm going to have Tulsi Gabbard. I'm going to have RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and myself, and let's have a round table discussion conversation. Let's talk about what we can all do and why I brought you as part of my transition team and what we're going to do to return the economy to where it was when I was the president of the United States before a pandemic. I want to return to what we were going to have and where we'd be today if those policies were to continue, and talk about why you came over. Let's talk about making America healthy again. Let's talk about, with Tulsi Gabbard, what we can do to bridge the gap between some Democrats, the moderate ones, and Republicans. I think that would be a brilliant strategy.
Donald Trump is ticked off about what happened on ABC, much like everybody else. And he answers the question about the debate, or a third debate, hypothetical third debate anyway. But he goes on to talk about the things that upset him as well.
There will be no third debate. It's too late anyway. The voting's already begun. You got to go out and vote. We got to vote. This is going to be the most important vote in the history of our country. People said that I was angry at the debate. Angry. I was angry. And yes, I am angry because he allowed 21 million illegal aliens invading our communities. Many of them are criminals. Many are criminals. I'm angry. They said he's an angry person. No, they're destroying our country. I don't like. She's smiling. All practice, right? Did you see her? She's like, we're talking about a border invasion, the likes of which no country has ever suffered, and she's like this. But I am angry about Venezuelan gangs taking over Aurora, Colorado, and illegal Haitians. And he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens. I'm angry about rampant inflation destroying our middle class, and the American people are also very angry about that.
And he's exactly right. He went into such detail about the things that were never addressed in the debate. They never talked about any of these things. They never talked about the importance of these things and why Donald Trump is angry, but also why you and I are angry. Why in the world is this happening? Why are we allowing this to happen? It's so clear that there is intent behind every move that's made with the Democrat Party. And I'm glad he said he's angry, because everybody else is too.
Well, every single thing that he brought up there can be laid at the feet of an administration that she was second in charge of. We continue to have this Kamala Harris who's tried to remake herself into this person who, I was the outsider. I wasn't in charge. I was kind of the one who wanted to do something a little bit different. But you were part of it. And you were the border czar.
And you never waved your hand saying no.
And it started with the whole, you're the border czar. And then it turned into, she wasn't really the border czar. Please. There's so many of these things she had a part in. And I think if things go to the point where Donald Trump wins this election, we are going to look back at it, and it's going to be that the American people would not disassociate what's gone on in the last 4 years from Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I think the reality of what we are looking at is Donald Trump has a really strong base, but he also has a lot of people in the middle that are looking at economy and immigration as number one. I really wish, look, these are rallies. That's where we're getting that sound from. He's going to say what he needs to his base, and I think that's really important. But you have to be able to say something to the independents and the ones in the middle. So when you're tackling immigration, it's kind of like what I said yesterday. You need to talk about the drain on the community, the drain on the services, the drain on the fact that we have homeless veterans, yet there's no place to rent. It's too expensive. Why? Well, because we're filling them up with people that we're paying to be here. That's what this administration has done. Stay away from the dogs, the cats, and the eating of animals if you can, especially when you're talking to the other side. You want to do that at the rally and throw up a picture of a cat running with Trump?
Gun.
Yeah, funny, and it's great.
Absolutely.
I love
time and a place.
Yeah, look, I like in the rallies when he put up a picture of Liz Cheney, but it wasn't. It was the Admiral, dressed in his drag, and said, look, here's Liz Cheney. And everybody gets a good laugh out of it. It's funny to a lot of people. But in reality, when you're talking to the middle, you got to talk about why and how you're going to fix that.
Well, I agree with all that. You're 100% correct. The middle's just as angry about what's happening in America, too. They're just as angry about the cultural rot, as we've kind of coined it here on this show, at least, of Springfield. And we'll hear from a woman who's running from office where she will break down what's happening in Springfield, meaning that there's one person that is kind of the central piece, the central cog of bringing all these Haitians to that small community through work programs and rental properties, and the fact that he's kicking out people that live there and have lived in his rental properties for many years, and then throwing up cots, hundreds of cots in every rental property he has, charging $250 a night. So it's basically a nothing but a laundromat of money coming in with people that are being supported by the federal government. It's unbelievable. You'll hear from her in a little bit. But I do believe those people in the middle. But that's important. I believe those people in the middle hear that and interpret that as negative, just like anybody else that has their head on straight.
When you don't have enough police for the 50,000 people you have there, and then you bring 20,000 people into your community, and when you bring them in, by the way, they didn't have jobs right away. They were taking jobs from the people that needed the jobs there. But at the same time, and yes, the people of Haiti would like to work and want to work. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem is now you have a police department that has to deal with 20,000 extra people when they're used to 58,000. That's like doubling the population almost to them. And then you got to deal with your 911 service or your 911 services. You have to deal with your county services, longer lines there, homes and housing, and everything changes, and you're paying for it. Not them. They're not paying for it. They're not putting into the system. We're paying to put up more stoplights, to put up more streets, and to widen the roads to accommodate 20,000 people. The libraries are overwhelmed. All the things that you need for those county services are being overwhelmed by people.
They are not supposed to be here. Period. They're being flown in on our tax dollars and given exempt status so that they're technically not even illegal.
No, they're right.
Guests.
Right, absolutely. Humanitarian parole is what the program is called.
Yeah, and you want to talk about stretching that program. Legally, this is not the way it's supposed to be.
No, it was supposed to be for someone who has an illness that can only be addressed in the United States. So they give these people parole to be here, get a medical procedure done, and then go home.
What is it, cat hunger? Is that the illness? What are we talking about here? This program is being used to flood your American towns, not your cities. The cities are doing their own thing, but you're flooding small town areas in order to break the system.
That's exactly right, man. People are afraid to say it, though. Most people are afraid to say it.
They're not supposed to be here.
But they're afraid to say what you just said. Most people are. And I'll give you an example of that. A young woman was asked about gender. Something as basic as, how many genders are there? And she started to answer the question, and her friend jumps in and says, don't do this.
How many genders are there?
I feel like there's two, because transgender.
No, stop. Don't say that on camera.
Yeah, but I feel like you either switch from a boy to a girl.
No,
switch back and forth.
Stop. I feel like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, but I feel like they switch back and forth. I know.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. There's you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter. Come on, stop.
All right, I'm sorry.
So I've lived that, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was several years ago when I would walk into a place and somebody would say, sir, I need you to put on a mask. Mm-hmm. And as I'm getting ready to go into my diatribe, that's what my wife would do. Stop. Just not now. Not now. Just don't get into it.
See, but in this scenario, I think it's more of the friend saying, don't say this on camera because this is going to blow up and this could change your life.
Yes.
This could put you in a situation that you don't even see happening. And it snowballs. And this, I actually applaud the friend because she's looking out for her friend. Should you be able to say it? Absolutely. And should you be brave enough to say it? Absolutely. But knowing what social media can do, sure. I applaud the friend because she was like, just don't. You don't know what comes along with this.
Yeah, you don't know what future you're going for, and you may go into a company and say, you know what, this is a great conservative company I work for, or you may think that, but all of a sudden now they've got these DEI programs, and they go, oh, we saw this on social media. It went viral. These guys in Atlanta on some conservative station were praising you for trying to speak your mind and tell the truth. The reality is we got to stop it, though. We do have to stop it.
No, for sure.
We can't be afraid of this anymore because the fact that we're afraid is why there's a problem. I'm not afraid to say there are two sexes, a man and a woman. Now, if you want to dress up and play make-a-believe, that's fine. Go ahead. Enjoy your life. I will never be mean to you. And if you want me, I will be respectful. I am respectful every single morning to my friend who thinks that he's a woman and dresses that way. And we have a conversation. I call, her because, you know what? That's what they want to be. I'm fine with it. They're not coming into my schools. They're not doing certain things. There is a division in it. And I'm not afraid to say, hey, look, I will respect you, but I know deep down inside, biologically, you're a dude.
People are afraid to speak the truth. The left wants it that way. They can't censor you right now, so they want to put you in a situation that you'll self-censor. You'll be afraid to tell the truth. It's exactly what's happening. And that's what that was an example of.
They're not supposed to be here.
That's right. And there's two sexes.
Just keep it right there. There's the quote.
You're a man or a woman. You can, make a believe.
You're going to get in trouble.
That's right. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the state of Florida has some advice for you to consider as we head into the fall and winter months. They always do things right down there, by the way. Next on the Morning Xtra, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Then Clay and Buck, local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder 3 until 6.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Hey, it's Front Office Los. Let's talk about Xmark. And where do you get Xmark quality products? You get it over at Howard Brothers. So when your quarterback gets knocked out with a concussion, that's no good. That's never good. You know what is good, though? When your yard looks like $1 million. And yeah, you might say, how are these parallel? Well, they're both kind of sports, aren't they? Let's face it, when you've got your neighbors driving past your yard, you want to basically win. You want to win that Super Bowl of yard work. Well, you can do that with Xmark mowers. It's your go-to for a championship-worthy yard. There's nothing better than when I get my yard work done and I look at my neighbor and I say, game on, Justin. Ha! And then the rest of my neighbors go, wow, why does his yard look so good? Well, it's because of the products that I get over from Howard Brothers, including Xmark. The precision cut and unmatched reliability will make your yard game day ready every single time. And over at Howard Brothers, that's where quality meets hometown service. This season, tackle your yard work with a new Xmark mower from your friendly folks over at Howard Brothers. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Xmark and with Howard Brothers.
The EQE SUV electrifies the spirit, soul, and body of the Mercedes-Benz SUV. User-friendly technology meets thoughtful utility, thorough refinement, and earth-friendlier power. Satisfying for both drivers and passengers with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 F-150 SUV today. Lease one today for just $569 per month for 36 months with $7,063 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through September 30th, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening.
I would say anyone who's working in any industry could use our services.
A couple of the clients that people tend to not even think about are churches, volunteer organizations. We do a lot of background checks for referee associations. Anybody who's going to be around kids or older adults or anybody vulnerable, you really need to do a background check that includes a criminal history, a sex offender registry search, and anything else that's really relevant to your organization, just to make sure that the people who you're putting in touch with, kids and other vulnerable people, are who you think they are, and that you're not putting your clientele at risk.
So we're going to help you reduce your risk. We're going to help you hire the right person on the front end so that you don't spend all this time with training and all those kind of things and then realize that wasn't a good hire.
The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening, or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Yes, it's going to be a little bit cooler today. I think the high of 79. It looks like fall in the future. If you look just a little bit, you have to put your hand right there where the bill of your cap is, like you're looking a far distance so you block the glare. You know what I mean? People do that. I used to see it in World War II movies anyway. I've never done it myself, actually.
I have.
Have you? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
And I feel stupid doing it.
Block the glare. Maybe get binoculars.
That's what but that's what this hat's for.
Yeah, that's right. It's supposed to block the glare. Exactly
like a lot of, I knew a gentleman who was, older, around my father's age. He used to get so mad when he see kids turn their hats around backwards. He'd be like, with sunglasses on. Okay. He'd be like, if you turn the hat around the other way, the bill blocks the sun. You're like screaming at people about it.
Sounds like Neil Boards.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It does.
Neil would be upset about something like that.
Yeah, of course.
Much as I love Boards.
Yeah.
There's sometimes he gets on
tattoos.
Gets on a little kick, and I'm like, come on, Neil. Yeah. Come on. You sound like get off my lawn guy. And he is.
And he's got that sleeve on.
That's right.
It's like, all right.
All right, Neil. All right. We love you, but all right. The reason I bring up the fall and the fact that it's coming and it's going to be a little cooler is because the state of Florida, they've got some advice, Lowe's, for folks as we head into the fall and especially into the winter.
I was so surprised to see this. So Florida has their state medical board that just points out their advisory stuff. For instance, hey, we're struggling with hurricanes. Make sure you do this. Get yourself prepared for this. Just emergency services. Here, let me let you know about this. Down power lines, things like that. And they made it a point to put out there, and I'll bring up the tweet here in a moment. Those COVID vaccines, don't take them unless you're over this age and here's your condition.
Love it.
It's like one of the first states where I've ever seen them actually take the data and said, risk reward here. If you're going to, here's where you should be. Here's your age. If you're not in this cohort, you probably should avoid this.
Let's imagine that COVID would have been treated that way from the beginning. The trust in the CDC, the NIH, the federal government as a whole wouldn't be at record lows. At this point, most people hear something the federal government says or the CDC or the NIH and they just roll their eyes. They're like, I don't know if I buy that. Those people have been bought and paid for. And I know we've talked about the way the Surgeon General down in Florida operates. But we like him better than anybody else anyway because he's the first one to challenge this type stuff. I love it, man. I think what they're doing in Florida, they're leading the way. Yeah. Other states need to replicate what they're doing.
So here was the quote. Based on the high rate of global immunity and currently available data, the state Surgeon General advises against use of mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. It continues, any provider concerned about the health risks associated with COVID-19 for patients over the age of 65 or with underlying health conditions should prioritize patient access.
There you go. It's pretty straightforward, man.
Could have been.
It could have been this way the whole time.
Yeah. But I mean, how many billions of dollars would you have lost out on?
See, now we've uncovered it.
Yeah, Pfizer wouldn't have benefited over the past 3 years of record profits at over 50%. Oh, like anybody. Oh, gosh, what would they do? Or what about all the companies like 3M and, of course, ventilators? Dyson made so much money selling ventilators to Andrew Cuomo to kill people. There was too much money to be made.
Joseph Ladapo, who that name, if it just kind of rings familiar to you, that's their state Surgeon General.
Oh, boy, was he attacked.
Oh, was he attacked for basically he was one of the first.
It's my Aunt Peg yelling again.
He was one of the first attorney generals who said, hey, we got two different school districts that are sitting right next to one another. One of them was masked, one of them was not. We did a study. There was no difference in the two.
Yeah.
And that became part of why they decided to change their policies moving forward.
Or Remdesivir. I mean, that was one of the things that you may go back and remember that not only the Surgeon General, but also the governor talking about, hey, we have an idea here that we've learned from science and doing kind of research that this drug is going to help people get over it and get through it. And that's what happened. But what happened with Pfizer and their agreement with the government, and what did they do? They shut down everything and tried to sue Florida. And luckily they have a great attorney general in Ashley Moody, and she does a great job. She defends that state and defends the people better than anyone else maybe in the country. And they went back, and now what? They use Remdesivir for... I mean, Fauci uses it all the time now, doesn't he?
No, well, Remdesivir was what was used in hospitals. It had a black box warning on it, and the problem was it was causing renal failure in people. For a lot of people where their kidneys shut down, that was the issue that was going on.
I must have it lost. What is it? Paxlovid is what
Paxlovid
they used.
I'm sorry. And remember, Paxlovid was just basically, it was an off-brand version of ivermectin that only had one method of action, whereas ivermectin had
several.
13.
Yeah.
But again, it was a moneymaker. Yeah. Like my grandmother, when she had COVID several years ago, she got put on Paxlovid. It was a $1,000 treatment. Right? Ivermectin cost you about $18.
Oh, 18. Yeah. There you go. That's the reason you get them mixed up, because we ain't buying that crap.
No. I mean, we were buying ivermectin. We were buying everything else that you could use. I know
we're using the horse tranquilizers.
Horse tranquilizers, whatever.
But that was the issue, is that Florida was leading the charge on so much of this stuff, not just from a freedom standpoint, because Georgia was right there too.
Yeah,
we were right behind them. But from a what I would call a medical standpoint, where they were very clear with what they were looking at in their data. It wasn't just, here, do this. It was, here's the reason why we're going to do this. And they would spell it out for you and say, here's the information we're looking at.
You're trying to tell me that some research department compared what actually happened versus what could have happened, and they made the best decision based on research and actual science. They Hang on. They followed the science? Is that what you're telling me happened?
And by the way, Florida, because of the large amount of retirees, remember, average age of death during the worst part of COVID was 78 years old. And COVID largely still is like a flu-like virus where if you're in bad health and you're in your 80s, it can kill you. They're at least saying 65 and older, maybe you might consider this based on what your other cohorts are, what your other conditions are.
And all of us conspiracy theorists here, we're not pushing back on this? Wait. I thought, surely we should be pushing back. We should be saying, no, don't do. But that's the thing. When it makes sense and there's research and to back it up and somebody has actually thought it through, most people are like, oh, that makes sense. When you use big tech to sway the way people think, and then they quit believing you, and then you wonder why.
I still have audio, I still have tweets where I just said an age stratified approach makes sense based on the possibility of having a severe outcome raises with age and with other underlying conditions. And that was my entire point the entire time. And meanwhile, this government was trying to jab every 20-year-old, 15-year-old, 30-year-old that was perfectly healthy athletes. Remember, at one point, the SEC was bragging about, hey, we got 90%. Yeah. Like, you're sticking this stuff in, like, 19-year-old men.
That don't need it because they're in the best shape of their lives.
So good for Florida. Yes. I'm glad that Florida is leading the way on basically telling you, listen, unless you got some sort of underlying condition, if you're healthy and you're young, you're fine.
Telling him, needs to be replicated everywhere. Ron DeSantis has done such a terrific job down there. I think all of us love Ron DeSantis and can't wait to see what his future in America is because he brings value. There's no doubt about it. He's done good work down there. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. When we come back after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update, the cats and dogs in Ohio are only a small part of the bigger, more frightening story out of Springfield, Ohio. Next on Extra 106.3, we appreciate you listening to us as you're headed into work. Maybe if you're working the third shift, you're heading home. But we appreciate you listening, and however you listen, on the app, on the FM, on the AM, or streaming on the YouTube channel. This is Extra 106.3.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, what sort of tear am I on this wonderful day? Once again, drug advertisements on TV. With the punchline, why do you think we have a drug problem? Instead of telling you the names of all of the prescription drugs that are advertised every night on network and other TV shows, let me tell you from observing these commercials all of the wonderful ways you can spend your day if you will just take these drugs. How do I know? Because the drug advertisements tell you so. You can spend the day shadow boxing or working out, maybe skydiving indoors. You can also go dancing. You can have a really large outdoor party on your back lawn. You can go for a walk on the beach or bathe, or you can go to the swimming pool and do cannonballs. Wow! You can go skiing out there in Colorado. You can do outdoor yoga on a beach. You can walk your dog in a beautiful, beautiful park somewhere. You can go shopping with your daughter. You will have more friends than you can count, of all different colors, by the way, and your kids won't be fat, nor will you if you will just do the Jardians dance. Yes, your life will be perfect. No drudgery. No drug ad shows you doing dishes or vacuuming the house. Everything just turns perfect and wonderful. Just take our drug. Now, you tell me, when an impressionable young kid sees this on TV every day, every night, tell me that they're not going to believe somehow that all they need to do for a wonderful life is just take drugs. And just think how much better things would be if they were just illegal. What a mess. Neil Bort's Extra 106.3.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, the Marketing Mad Men. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Mad Men every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Your Atlanta Braves are down to the final few series of the regular season and need you at Truist Park when the Los Angeles Dodgers come to town September 13th through the 16th, followed by the New York Mets September 24th through the 26th. Fans can look forward to some great entertainment and, of course, giveaways, including rubber shoe charms on Sunday, September 15th for the first 3,000 kids through the gates. And then on September 24th, the first 15,000 fans will receive the City Connect replica jersey presented by Xfinity. The fun continues through the week when the Braves celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month on September 25th with a special Los Bravos Night celebration, including a special on-field presentation, salsa band, Mexican dancers, and more. The regular season wraps up as the Royals come to Truist Park September 27th through the 29th. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out all the fun and purchase tickets starting at just $9. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
This is a ball game. You can't say, that Donald Trump is just fine, but he's better for America than they are. Who doesn't know that?
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
More turbulence for Boeing. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This time, the problem's on the ground.
Our members rejected the contract by 94.6%.
That's Union President John Holden.
They voted to strike by 96%.
And then after midnight near Seattle, Washington, they walked off the job along with other Boeing employees in Oregon, which will shut down some airplane production. The 33,000 machinists rejecting a 25% pay raise offer, demanding 40% instead.
The last time Boeing saw a strike was back in 2008. That strike lasted 57 days. Now, no timetable as to how long this strike could last, but it is estimated it will cost Boeing $100 million a day.
That's Dave Detling with Fox TV in Seattle. President Biden will meet with Britain's prime minister today, and as Fox's Jill Nato reports, a big topic will be continuing to help Ukraine battle Russia.
The New York Times reports European officials say the president appears to be ready to clear the way for Ukraine to strike far into Russian territory with Western weapons. Britain's already signaled it wants to let Ukraine use its Storm Shadow missiles, but wanted permission from the president.
Russia's leaders warning against that. Vladimir Putin says if the U.S. and Europe let Ukraine do that, it'll put NATO at risk of war with Russia. Former President Trump says he's done with debates and won't face off again with Vice President Harris, saying at a rally in Tucson, Arizona.
People said that I was angry at the debate. I was angry. And yes, I am angry because he allowed 21 million illegal aliens invading our communities.
Today he'll rally in Nevada. Harris wants a second debate with Trump, calling him unfit for a second term.
Same old tired playbook we've heard for years, with no plan for how he would address the needs of the American people.
She held two rallies in North Carolina. Today the vice president will campaign in Pennsylvania. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
If the left made any sense, they would be right. Listen to Extra 106.3.
Doug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Some of the things that'll be talked about around the water cooler today will be the Boeing strike. They turned down the 25% increase and now are demanding 40% at Boeing. This is the company that can't get the astronauts back to Earth and can't keep doors on planes. I mean, I'm just saying.
40% increase for everyone.
That's what, I mean, what kind of backwards ass thinking is that?
I hope they do it. And they'll end up like Yellow Freight, UPS, Bluebird, and all the other companies that fell for this trap of these union workers, and they'll be out of business soon. So it's a shame. Well, Boeing will always get their government contracts and figure it out one way or another. Sure. Don't worry. But the reality of this is they're being held hostage. They're not performing. You're not getting 40%. You were offered 25%. I'd take that.
Don't you want to negotiate from a place of excellence? Isn't that always, like, for athletes, you always want to have a big year in your contract year, so you're negotiating from a place of excellence. Right now, Boeing, for, I don't know, probably the first time in about 25, 30 years, the name is, oh my God, am I getting on a Boeing plane?
That's the first thing you look at.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You sit down, you lay, you put the tray down or whatever, and you grab the little
I've been grabbing the pamphlet to see what kind of plane I'm on.
And then as soon as it reads Boeing, you're like, I've got to go to the bathroom.
I mean, this hasn't been since like the 80s when they had a problem with like the 737s or 757s where you go, I don't know if I want to be on a Boeing plane, and you're asking for 40%.
It's insanity. Another thing is the CEO of Goldman Sachs has downplayed the praise that Kamala heaped onto herself, I guess, a better way to put it, during the debate, and how Goldman Sachs was saying that her financial strategy, her financial policy was going to set America on a right path. Meanwhile, we just went over $1.05 trillion is interest on the debt. So if you maintain the course, which you will because you're not voting for a person, you're voting for a system, that number is set to grow. And the CEO has said, no. That's not. She's blowing this way out of proportion.
Yeah. Not only is she blowing this out of proportion, she's flat out lying about the numbers. And remember, she went up there and said, Goldman Sachs, the CEO, said this is the best plan. And Donald Trump's, that'll cost us $5 trillion, where mine will add $5 trillion. And then he comes back and goes, no, this was an independent person who put this report together, number one. And number two, it's 0.2 of 1% difference in there that would add to this economy. The reality is they can't tell what policies will go through and what won't. The only difference is Donald Trump has already had these policies in place, voted on by both Democrats and Republicans. In fact, the tariffs are still in place for a good reason, because it did help this economy. And Kamala Harris is giving you things that will never pass or never get through House or Congress. I don't care who's in charge at all.
Tug, what was that spending on the debt once again?
$1.05 trillion.
Last year we spent $816 million on defense.
Yep.
$816 billion. And our financing of our debt is now $200 billion more than that.
But you have to understand, Carlos, the what we spent on the defense is important because Ukraine needs that defense money.
Yes, they do.
And so does Israel, and so does every other country out there that we send this defense money, because that's about our national security.
It's just wild that the financing of our debt is now more than what we spend in order to keep the world free.
Oh, God. That's
ourselves and the world free.
Unimaginable. It's unimaginable. But it makes sense. It's the craziest thing. Of course it makes sense when you know what the plan is.
When you see Nancy Pelosi all of a sudden becomes a multi-millionaire when she never had a real job, or Joe Biden is worth as much as he is, even though he's never had a real job or created any kind of other job or actually made money or a product. It makes plenty of sense.
And you want to fundamentally change America, of course it makes sense. Just some things that we've talked about today.
Doug, here in Georgia, we went and changed our entire infrastructure for Rivian to build their plant. We cleared the land. We paid for the land. We've done all of that. We did. Brian Kemp took our taxpayer money and did those things, widened the roads, built those roads over there. I mean, I drove by it probably about 2 months ago. Looked nice and cleared out. I love the new intersection, all of that. But Rivian pulled out. These are the kind of things that we're taking the money, the infrastructure, we're putting it, taxpayer money into these things. This is why we're in debt. We don't investigate. We don't think things through. Then we make trails of, tears and this and that. And we don't really focus on the things that matter in this country. We just do our little pet projects so we can make friends.
That's exactly right. And it's sad, and it will continue. But just a couple of things. Oh, and President Trump is campaigning in Nevada. I'm sorry, in Nevada, and Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania today. So if you're wondering where everyone will be. So I want to ask y'all about the things that are going on in Springfield, because we've talked about how just insane things are. And of course, the center of the conversation has been eating animals and ducks and cats. And I've not heard dogs, even though Donald Trump said dogs in the debate.
I mean, if you're going to eat cats and geese,
why not?
How far off are we?
Yeah, probably not that far. But a
lot of dogs running around Haiti.
Don't act like people all over the world don't eat dogs, cats, geese, and other animals. Absolutely. I mean, we see it all the time. There are things,
especially in Haiti.
Look, as a chef, there are some things I'm like, why would you even contemplate using a horse meat or a cat meat or a rat's?
Yeah,
but they've done it.
Insects nowadays.
Yeah, how about a good grasshopper?
But what do we do here? And you're a guest here.
Yes, yeah, and that's the problem. And I want people to listen to this letter from an Ohio State representative about what's happening in Springfield. This is a woman reading this, and it goes to the cultural right, because is there evidence that, yes, geese are being eaten? Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. There's video, there's police reports, they're trying to keep that under wraps. You don't want to talk about it. It's embarrassing. Sure, I get it. Is it happening overwhelmingly? Probably not, but definitely happening. But the bigger thing is the cultural rot, because they are sending, the federal government under this humanitarian parole are sending thousands and thousands of Haitians to this one community. But this is not just this one community. It's happening other places too. Mm-hmm. This is the one that just got the attention. And this woman goes on to talk about this employment agency that has been importing these migrants to town, and when they come, they can only work for this one owner. It's almost like an indentured servitude. This dude owns, the same man owns a bunch of properties. I think it's 63 in all. In Springfield. He's kicking out people that have rented from him for a long time under the guise of, we're going to remodel these homes, but the remodeling never happens. He installs cots.
The staffing company that started this migration, in quotation marks, is owned by a man that has over 63 rental properties in the Springfield area. Instead of getting the normal $600 to $800 in rent each month, he rents cots for $250 a month to as many as 20 to 25 Haitians per home. He charges them $25 for round trips to work each day. They work under contracts preventing them from being hired full-time at their place of employment. This and the barrier of not speaking English causes them to become basically indentured servants, in my opinion. Since no one over the age of 18 requires a driver's education in Ohio, Haitians are allowed to take the permit test with an interpreter who basically gives them all the answers. Since permit in Haitian language of Creole is interpreted as permission, most never take the actual driving test. This means hundreds of Haitians who cannot speak English and have no idea what the driving laws actually say are now causing accidents all over their community. There are Facebook pages created by individuals dedicated to reporting accidents involving Haitians. The number of overturned cars being reported each day on the streets where the speed limits are 35 miles per hour or less would shock you. 1 year ago, a Haitian man pulled in front of a school bus, causing the bus to overturn, ejecting children, and resulting in the death of one 11-year-old student.
That's just part of it.
She's a racist.
That's just part of it. That's just part of it.
That's a tiny part of it.
There's 7 minutes more of this, and we'll probably play one more clip because I want you to hear it, but not the entire 7 minutes. But it just gives you an idea of the cultural rot that is happening in America.
Well, they've created this weird parallel economy where if you were to look to rent a place in Springfield, Ohio, it's going to be anywhere from $1,200 to $1,400. You can go on Zillow, take a look. That's what you'll find. What she's basically saying is you have places that are now $3,000 to $4,000 is what they're generating because the government is handing these people money, and you have owners that are taking advantage of the situation and are basically kicking out regular renters and saying, pack 10 or 12 people in here, we're going to make significantly more money off and tripled the money.
Yeah, very important. They're taking residents, people who've been there for 25, 30 years that were working in those factories. First of all, they lost their jobs in those factories because, again, you're bringing in these migrants to take those good-paying jobs for these people. Then you're throwing them out of their homes, and now they become essentially homeless. But they do have an option to go ahead and look for other rental properties. But at this point, what was $1,400 is now $2,000 to $3,000. You can't afford it because now wages are down because, you know what? Why should I hire Tug, who's been doing this for 25 years, or keep him on board when I got this guy who I could train to do what I want, have him do it, and then he'll be here every day because we pick him up. We get money for that as well.
He's living in our house.
Taxpayer money. He's living in our house that we're renting out, and now this citizen is hurt. Not to mention, when you go into the grocery stores, think about the supply hasn't changed. The demand has. So now prices are up there. It is a very, very bad situation. This is the kind of idea they want to set up, though, in every city. That's the reality of it. Now, it's not all immigrants. They want to do that to all of us and take us down to a level where they could put us where they want us, what we need, because they told you at the DNC exactly what you need to think, that you shouldn't want for more than you need. So they want to get that to every city.
Well, it's the creation of a new underclass. And that's what we have talked about. When you understand, when she talks about indentured servitude, one of the schemes that has gone on, and we've seen this nationwide, but it's happening in these smaller towns as well, it's where, Tug, you can choose to sign yourself up for Uber and sign yourself up for a number of different ride shares. And then you find somebody who's recently here as a, whether they're here legally or not, and basically you're the one who tells them, I'm going to assign you what you have to pick up and do. You're going to pay me. And so this person who is not able to hold a typical job is now working for you, and now you have, let's say, 3 or 4 rideshare drivers that are working for you.
It's almost like a pyramid scheme.
And they're stuck because they can't find any other form of work, but you're legal and you're good, and so they're the ones paying you. That's that indentured servitude going on.
And then talk about hospitals. The hospitals in Springfield are overrun. Do you know why? She'll tell you.
Our county health department has reported an increase in HIV cases over the last 5 years. Based on their numbers, we will hit an increase at 871% over the previous 5 years. Nurses have confirmed that an entire wing of our regional hospital has nothing but Haitian patients being treated for HIV. A delivery nurse reports that 70% of all scheduled cesareans are for Haitian women who cannot deliver naturally because of HIV. TB cases are up over 500% for the same period. Our federally qualified health care, called Rocking Horse, is overwhelmed with the increase of Haitians that are automatically qualified for Medicaid services. Our public safety officials have confirmed that charges against most Haitians who break the law are almost immediately dismissed because of lack of translators, meaning that the courts cannot provide speedy trial, so they are simply arrested and released.
They've covered every base to make sure that this works. This is so well thought out. This is so well planned. Mm-hmm. And now it's happening in real time in small towns around America. Springfield is just one of many that this is happening in.
They started this with flying immigrants to White Plains, New York. Now, the only difference between that and also let's talk about what happened up in Cape Cod and that area, Martha's Vineyard, and those areas up there. They flew them in. They said, no, and threw them out. Why? Well, they didn't want the people that they support the Democrats. They supported it. In fact, they had signs saying they welcome them, but that was a virtue signal to say, hey, yeah, we care, until they were actually there because they realized the drain they put on the entire system. This is why I continue to say, let's talk about immigration in this manner and not about eating pets, not about the other things. Yes, does it happen? Absolutely. Is it horrific? Absolutely. It needs to be called out when you have the evidence. I'm all for it. But we really need to focus on not just Haitians, all immigrants, no matter where they're coming from, whether it's the Middle East, China, Russia, Ukraine, or Mexico. We need to talk about all the people that are coming over here and the drain it's causing on the system, because I think if people hear what's happening to this small town and realize it's coming to your town next, or it's already happening and you don't realize it, we need to pay attention.
Here's where I disagree with you, because I'm going lowest common denominator here. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is this. I will hopefully never be in a position where I'm having to battle it out with somebody over rent of my home, or hopefully never lose out on a job for somebody who just got here. I am a pet owner. Okay, and like there's that way we're
well,
trying.
That's what I'm saying. Still put up the videos.
We're trying to find ways to make people understand that this is so low down and gross that, you know, these other things that we talk about, they're a serious factor. You know, like you brought up with that woman when it comes to the amount of HIV infection. If you go to like South Africa and different areas of Africa, it's 10%. It's the most in the world.
871%.
Okay.
That's what the increase is.
Haiti's 2%.
Yeah.
All right. 2% of their population has HIV, which is the largest amount in this part of the world, the Caribbean all the way into Canada and North America. So you're talking about a people that when you say bring us your best and your brightest, this is not it right now.
Sure.
And is that everybody? Of course not. But when you're saying I'm just going to fly these people in indiscriminately and just drop them into your area, know that the government is doing this intentionally in order to create cultural rot.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no doubt about it. But the cultural rot is in other places other than eating animals. And again, I just think the focus. I'm saying when you see those videos, when you see it, it needs to be out there. But you got to be careful about throwing it out, because if you really want people to understand, and especially on the left, you're not going to get it by talking about eating cats, because emotionally they're going to jump and defend them in that regard, being like, oh, it's racist. You're going to lose the battle there. You don't lose the battle when people who are of maybe they're black or brown or look like you as the president, when they're losing their homes, when they're losing their jobs, they can't find a place to rent. I guarantee that translates more to them when they see that, because that's what happened in Chicago. As soon as the community centers were taken away, that's when you heard about it. They didn't care about the crimes that were happening in Chicago every day because of migrants. They cared when their services were taken over. And I think you really need to focus on that if you want to reach some people that might not vote for Kamala Harris.
What's fortunate is that we do have in real time playing out in the last 48 hours, 72 hours, the real life Streisand effect.
Yeah.
Like if you're familiar with this, where she didn't want her home published, her Malibu home, and all it did was it made more people try and find out what her Malibu home was.
Sure.
Donald Trump bringing up the things that he brought up during that debate has caused people to go, well, is he full of it? And then they looked into it and went, okay. It caused it to it's bringing attention that was unwanted to these topics.
I definitely agree. But now you got to focus on, now that you got the attention of that community, show them what's happening.
It's not hard. All you have to do is look. You will find it really, really quickly. It's unbelievable. It's unimaginable. I have an adopted sister who's special needs, and she gets a stipend check from the government for living expenses. She is incapable of working. She just doesn't have that ability. And every one of those people that are in Springfield are getting the same check
or more,
probably more, to be honest.
Yeah,
most
the way it
likely
sounds
more
from residents.
But I mean, and it's 20,000 of those people. Think about the amount of money that is. It's unbelievable, unfreaking believable that it's happening in the United States of America, and that's why it's so important to vote. You better vote, because you're going to get what you ask for if you don't. Dems will use the horrific story out of Winder to advance their goals. Please pay attention to what's about to come your way next on the Morning Extra. Doug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Why do the Republicans let the liberals do it? ABC, CNN, NBC do a Candy Crowley, which is what they did last night, and basically let her skate. He didn't have a great performance. Let's put it on him, too.
He screwed
but
up.
You cannot allow the libs to control the debate, and they do it every time.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
All right, let's talk about what you need to do to make sure that you have all the essentials for you and your family, and maybe even get some neighbors involved so that you can all be safe in case of any kind of emergency. And the emergencies I'm talking about are, I don't know, maybe a train derailing and contaminating a water supply. Maybe there's some riots and you need to make sure that you're protected and you need protection. Well, True Prep has everything you need for emergency preparedness supplies. Whether it's freeze-dried food, water filtration, firearms, firearm accessories, first aid kits, ammo, they have it all at the lowest price around, and they're locally owned and operated by Matt and Joey, two Georgia Tech engineers that graduated right from Georgia Tech here. And they want to make sure that you know that they are a local small business. Go out and support them. And guess what? They got a big, huge sale coming up almost a week away on the 21st. It is their anniversary party, the 13th anniversary for True Prep. And one of the great parts about it is they give tons of things away, up to $5,000 worth of merchandise, things that you actually need. It's a great time. Come down. I'll be there as well. Come visit, say hello. They've got food. They got things for the kids there, and they have things that will save your life, actually save your life. So go check out True Prep and go on their website, because they also have a bunch of great workshops. Sign up for some of the workshops. Next month, or at the end of the month here, they got their AR-15 care and maintenance. They got intro to emergency preparedness coming up, a bug out and get home bag class, intro to water filtration and storage, long-term food storage. All those great classes can be found on their website, trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
You take it for granted, but it's the biggest piece of moving equipment in your home, your garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. When trust matters, like when your garage door doesn't open or needs to be replaced, trust us. Here's why. All Four Seasons is a local, family-owned company built over 25 years ago on honesty, customer service, and teamwork. If you've got garage door issues, trust us to repair or replace. We'll make it easy. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
This time of year, there are two things you can't stop: the leaves falling off the trees and the prices falling at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. If you are planning a fall wedding, birthday, or anniversary, there's never been a better time to visit Solomon Brothers Jewelers. Percentage Week is back for 1 week only, September 16th through the 22nd. This is your chance to save up to 60% off on engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, and more. Everything in all 3 of our showrooms will be discounted up to 60% off. Now is the best time to save on the engagement ring and wedding bands of your dreams. Choose from all of the top designers in the industry, or say I love you with a beautiful pair of diamond earrings or a tennis bracelet. Remember, no matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. So visit us for Percentage Week, September 16th through the 22nd, going on in all 3 of our showrooms in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, or online at solomonbrothers.com.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com.
My fellow Americans, our yards are in troubled times. Unwanted weeds are crossing fence lines across our great nation, and we need to put a stop to it. No more college football Saturdays spent mowing the lawn. No, sir. Let's turf it with ultra-premium artificial grass from ATL Turf Co. They're Atlanta and North Georgia's first choice for premium turf solutions, from incredible lawns to custom putting greens. Let's make your yard great again with a free consultation at atlturfco.com.
Election season is here, and regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, we can all experience the stress of uncertainty. Fear of the unknown can cause us to postpone important decisions that impact our lives, especially in retirement planning. Resist hesitation and contact Masterplan Retirement Consultants, a holistic retirement planning firm dedicated to creating a retirement plan to help with all of life's surprises. Through income planning and money management, legacy planning, and tax planning, we create a plan specifically designed for your life to see you to and through retirement. Don't leave your retirement up to chance. Create a plan for your retirement and pursue peace of mind. Visit masterplanretire.com. Masterplan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Masterplan Retirement Consultants Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates Inc., DBA Masterplan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, September 13th. 21-year-old Jaden Lewis of Milton was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault for the killing of 46-year-old Justin Morning. Lewis is accused of opening fire while riding a motorcycle through downtown Alpharetta, striking Morning with gunfire. Morning was taken to the hospital where he later died. Investigators found multiple shell casings at the scene and believe the shooting stemmed from an argument. 2 Edwards Middle School employees were arrested after a security check. Rockdale County Sheriff's deputies arrested teacher Paul Schwartz and charged him with 2 counts of bringing a weapon on the school grounds after he was found in possession of 2 razor blade knives. His son, Paul Schwartz Jr., a contracted staff member, was charged with making threats. The school was briefly placed on lockdown. Rockdale County Schools stated that neither man is still employed at the school. And the Atlanta Braves are back at Truist Park tonight to open a 4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves, who are now 3rd in the NL East and 1 game back of the Mets for the final wildcard spot, will have rookie Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound. First pitch scheduled for 7:20. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
I told you yesterday that the presidential debate brought in 60 million. That has been updated to 67 million viewers. 31% increase over June's debate with Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. That's quite a big jump. I mean, it's an impressive. I'm glad that many people are watching and engaging, but that it's still a relatively low number in the fact that we have 320 million people in America. So you, and Lo said it earlier, you are the few. You're the 1% of people that actually are dialed in and paying attention to what's happening in this country. And we appreciate you listening to us because it's on our minds as well.
Remember, if there's 330 million people and there's 1% paying attention, still a good number, but it ain't that much.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Sad story out of Winder, Georgia. I mean, you're seeing just the fallout continue. They've released the video of when authorities went and interviewed the father and the son, Colton Gray, there at his house, and he seemed like a relatively normal little kid. I mean, he really did. And when I watched it, there was nothing that sent off big red flags for me. There was nothing that made me go, oh my God, this kid is off his rocker. This kid could potentially shoot up a school. And maybe either my understanding, my interpretation is bad or slow. But that's what I took away from it. That this is still so stinking surprising. But there's so many more details, Rhino, that are being released and that are coming to the forefront about this school shooting.
Yeah, the response to what's going on at the school shooting is exactly the way it needs to be. People are looking into it, investigating, and getting things done more than you would an assassination attempt on a former president, for sure. The one thing that we're starting to learn now is this kid, unfortunately, found a way to put this gun in the backpack. Now, he didn't break this gun down to put it in the backpack. He put it in full, and he hid it in his backpack. He was sitting in class and decided that he needed to get up and told the teacher that he needed to speak to school administrators. He was having an issue of some kind. That's when he left the room with the backpack. This could have been avoided. You know, Democrats will tell you all the time, well, if there just weren't guns, this could have been avoided. This could have been avoided in an easier way. What if we had metal detectors and our children had to go through it? There's no way that gun would get through a backpack if we had security at the front of this school. There are answers that we need to get.
I guess the default to, take your guns, which Kamala Harris said she would never do before, now after she said, yes, that's what we're going to do, mandatory. But if you look at what's happening in Germany, there was a migrant, and he decided to go into just an event that was going on, a community event, and stabbed a bunch of people. That German official now wants to ban knives. So where does it end? And when do you actually address the issue that is causing the problem? The gun will sit by itself, just like it did in my bedroom when I was growing up as a kid with 2 shotguns and 2, handguns in the unlocked. You could say my parents were I don't know, not safe enough, be fine. But I never bothered them until it was time to go, right? Until it's time to go target shooter, time to go hunting, and that's when we did. But when are we going to address the actual problem, Los? That's the thing. The gun ain't going to do anything. The knife ain't going to do anything. It's the people.
Well, we're never going to, because this is, in a way, politically profitable to one side. Considering that Kamala Harris, and she is on record of saying that we needed to get police out of schools. She looked at it as we're militarizing schools. Well, I've never felt that way. More resource officers, the better. If you're telling me about if I have to walk through a metal detector to get on a flight or get into my bank, why wouldn't I have to do that at school? For some reason, that makes it sound like it's some sort of third world, horrible sort of
that's
place.
The framing, but because of that.
And so who pushes back the hardest against that? The left does. And why? Because they need school shootings in order to confiscate your weapons. All right? This is not some hard sort of mathematics. This has always been the same thing. When you talk about hardening your schools, the first people to push back are the left and go, you can't militarize our schools. They're our schools. They're for our young people. Well, I'd like to protect them. You can't do that.
It's the gun.
Oh my God, we need your guns. It's always the same thing. The left needs. They can't wait for the next school shooting or the next mass shooting. They need it on a regular basis for their end goal.
And it's funny you bring up the militarization part of it, because if you look at the polling suggests that Americans, by and large, the majority of Americans want to militarize the southern border. They want to shut it down by any means necessary. They want to use the military on the southern border to stop it. I don't think Americans at this point have a problem with militarizing anything that will put America in a better place. Do they want the military to stay there forever? No, they don't. But until we figure out the problem down there, which we all know what it is, it's all intentional, so it's never going to happen. But Americans would like to see it happen. They want to use that to our advantage. We want to use the military for what it was established to do, which is protect the borders of the United States. And yet they won't do that, Rhino. And it's the same thing with schools. They use that same coin, that term, as Los brought up, militarizing our schools. And it's nothing to do with that. I never felt militarized when I walked through the TSA, like he said.
TSA or even to the Braves game later today.
That's right.
Yep. There's more protection going into a Braves game than a typical school.
Yeah, that's the problem. And you know what? You want to keep in pretending that this is a problem? Well, I'll tell you right now, in our schools, I'm watching barbaric fights. Not even with guns, just barbaric fights. We don't have any control. Our teachers have no control. Our own teachers can't be protected from students that attack them, grab them by the hair, slam their heads into concrete. I mean, how many teachers have we heard that have been attacked in some of these schools that ended up in the hospital or worse? We need to start protecting everybody in those schools. And you know what? We're going to protect people at football games. We're going to protect people at the airport. We're going to protect people at banks. And you don't want to protect the next generation? Stop telling me that you give a crap about kids when the few things that you do talk about are killing babies and, of course, never protecting children or giving any options to protect your children. Your only answer is to take away guns from legal gun owners who 90% of, maybe even more than that, never will use that gun for any nefarious purpose. You won't defend and protect inner cities against gangs that are running the streets. In fact, you're letting them back out. You're giving them lighter sentences. They've been tried 3 times. You're like, oh, well, let's do background checks on legal gun owners, but you won't do background checks on the rap sheets that of these gang members that you continue to go out in the street and then give a 12 and 15-year-old kid a gun. You guys are jokes. And you know what? Until we get somebody at the AJC, because you know what? They got to play politics. They got to be the propagandist parrots for the Democrat Party. Until we get someone who actually does research on, hey, where are all the gun shootings? Where are all the mass shootings in Atlanta? Because there haven't been that many, but out of the 3 over the past few years, guess where they were? They weren't in schools. This happens to be one that was. But in reality, we need to start really looking at answers. And some of those answers is protect the kids, put up whatever we need so that a kid can't throw a AR-15 in his backpack and walk into a school when he's angry after being bullied.
It's unreal. It absolutely is. Another thing is the violence that you're seeing from those who do not want you to expose the fact that Kamala Harris will ship people in to rallies. Now, it was funny because the thing that got under Donald Trump's skin the most in that debate when she called out people leaving his rally. That rattled him. I don't know why it's that thing that gets under his skin the way it does, but it does. Now, the left don't want you to know that they're shipping people in from Atlanta and Savannah and everywhere to make rallies look like, and there's these huge buses like they're going to a big event.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to a football game, and you'll see all the buses pull up, and it's people from all over the place.
Right out here in front of the Braves Stadium every day.
Yeah, we get a good amount of people from all over the Southeast to get bussed into the area. They bought a ticket, they get on a bus, and they'll go back home afterwards. All right, that is what Kamala Harris's rallies have been looking like. So she was in North Carolina yesterday, and there was a Democrat who chose to videotape outside to be like, look at all the people that are here. And it was legitimately thousands of people getting off these buses who had been bussed in. Right. If there's anything that the Democrats do have, they have a giant war chest, and they're able to afford to get activists. Hey, you want to take a day trip to North Carolina? We need you visually. We're going to give you this money to do so. That is part of what they've been doing. And this particular North Carolina Democrat ended up being reached out to by the Harris campaign and said, can you delete that, please? Take that down. You're showing them what... It was almost like they had the emperor's clothes exposed. It's like, look, no clothes.
Yeah. Oz, you've moved the curtain in front of the Wizard of Oz. Holy cow, you can't do that.
I mean, look at that video. Yeah, and this is what these people were standing, they're lined up. They've been compensated, and they're waiting to go and make their appearance. But look how long that bus line is. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's lots of folks. 404-741-1230 is the number. Joey, on the show, welcome. Thank you. What is it that's on your mind, Joey?
Oh, hey, guys. I think hearing your cope today about pretending like the crowds are not real for Harris is laughable.
Okay.
You could see yesterday, she filled out that entire auditorium. You know, this election is really clear. We got two choices.
Yes, we do.
We got
That's right.
The MAGA Russians, or we got the Americans.
Joey, I have a question for you. I have a question for you real quick, just so we're choosing sides and all. What are your favorite Kamala Harris policies?
My favorite Kamala Harris policies are that she stands up for America. She doesn't.
That's not a policy. That's not a policy. No. Hold on. Keep them on. That's not a policy. I need to help you out here because you sound very uninformed. How about the 3 million homes?
Well, no.
How's that? No. I'm going to help him out.
Spell it out.
Isn't that a good policy? 3 million homes. You're going to get yourself a new home, aren't you? When she gives you that break, that's a policy of hers.
Well, I don't know if that's a policy. I heard her say on the debate that she is going to stand with Ukraine.
So you're voting, hold on, you're voting for an American and you don't know anything about her? I'm giving you the policy. I'm telling you what the policy. She wants to use your taxpayer money to build 3 million homes. Don't you think it's great that you're going to build a home for someone else? Now, you probably own a home, right?
I own a home. Yeah, I heard yesterday that Donald is going to...
No, I'm asking about Kamala Harris. Not Donald. We're not talking about Donald. Donald's out in your world. Kamala Harris is going to do this for you. Is that a good policy for you? How does that affect you in the most of America?
I hear what you guys lie about with the crowd sizes. I really doubt you're telling the truth about this policy.
It's not my words.
Joey, I just want you to describe.
Come on, you guys are pretending that her crowd.
Joey, I'm asking you for one policy that you can articulate and you agree with. That's all.
A couple of them.
You've not said anything, Joey. You've not given us one. You've not given us one. Give us one. Start with the one.
I gave you an actual policy.
Go ahead, Joey. Give us the policy.
Yeah, I like her Ukraine policy. I like it a lot.
What is it?
It is that we are going to continue to support Ukraine and make sure that Russia doesn't win.
Okay.
Thank you for the call,
Joey. That puts on display exactly what we've been talking about.
I even gave him a policy to go on.
All you have to do is ask the question. And so, when I tell you about these crowd sizes and these people being paid to show up in something they can't articulate, Joey fits perfectly.
But it's so funny. Like, I thought it was just Donald Trump that got upset about crowd sizes.
Come on, tell me that was... Hey, guys, I know you're out there. You guys are pretending to be Democrats calling us, aren't you? That can't be real.
No,
that's a real voter. That's a real guy.
But here's the deal, Joe. You're welcome to call and call the show anytime.
But
absolutely.
You probably want to brush up.
But you might want to brush up a little bit to articulate some policy. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
Just maybe.
Then I give him a policy. He goes, I don't believe that's a real one.
I believe
it's her policy. Go look it up.
In backing Ukraine. Okay. Let's continue. What else?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Right. But anybody is welcome to call. Absolutely right. And if you make good points, hey, look, Liberal John's called and made good points.
Yes, Liberal John makes significantly better points than what I just sat through.
Oh, don't make fun of that guy. He's unemployed. Listen, but this is what they've done to him. They've taken away the ability for him to think. They've already programmed him to say those things, and yet he never looked into their policies. He is the useful idiot that they need, and good for him. Look, if he loves what she's doing and loves her policy on Ukraine, sir, donate all your money to Ukraine. Have a good time.
The reason why you had 60% of independents after the debate that said that they were going with Donald Trump is because at least he talked about policy. She never talked about policy. She talked about platitudes. And people that are looking for some sort of direction are looking for policy, not platitudes.
That was according to Reuters, by the way, not exactly a conservative outlet.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't make it up.
Yeah, right. Reuters is where that came from, the 60%.
And I can tell you right now, I don't care about crowd size either way.
Yeah.
Like, it means nothing to
funny.
me. It's silly that they continue to play this game.
But it is funny that it upset Trump and it upset Joey, too.
Yeah.
People
I
get
could care
upset.
less. She's got great crowds. Whether she busses them in or not, it doesn't matter. They're still going to vote for her. She's got great crowds.
More and more celebrities are opting to avoid endorsing a particular candidate. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. If you'd like to jump into the conversation, 404-741-1230.
Atlanta radio legends, proud military vets, national network experts are all on Extra 1063.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months.
With live and local shows in the morning and afternoon, and the biggest conservative hosts in the country throughout the day. We are always here with the latest news and opinions you need.
There's no chance if the media and the Department of Justice and social media are all against you.
No traffic interruptions, no former shock jocks, just Atlanta legends you've turned to for a generation. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 1063 FM and the Extra app.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but need a trusted resource to navigate life beyond military service. The Warrior Alliance is changing thousands of lives for the better and needs your support to expand our impact. Join us for an exciting fundraising program, followed by an Atlanta Braves baseball private event on Friday, September 13th. Special guests include powerful veteran testimonies, Atlanta Braves alumnus Sid Bream, and Drivin' and Cryin's Kevin Kinney. Individual tickets and VIP tables are on sale now at thewarrioralliance.org.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction action in which it is unlawful.
Are you concerned about securing your family's future and assets? Look no further than Nelson Elder Care Law. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we offer absolute assurance and peace of mind through our comprehensive asset protection services. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to explore how we can safeguard your legacy and provide tailored solutions for your family's well-being.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a hand-picked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
The Morning Extra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
I never in a million years thought a debate discussion about people attending would inspire so much interest, because that's why Joey called originally to defend Kamala Harris, and you're welcome to do that on the show anytime. If you come with facts, then you're always welcome to do that.
Or emotions.
Or emotions.
We can take either one. And Joey, I thank you.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of, my very simple question was, what was the policy you were most interested in? And that apparently got people a little bit fired up.
It stumped them a little bit. Megan is in Atlanta, 404-741-1230. Megan, what's on your mind?
Hey, I don't know where to start with that segment. It was so awesome, and it was so indicative of the Democratic Party. All I can say is, bless Joey's heart. He meant well by calling, and I respect him for that.
Me too.
But you all nailed it. He could not name one policy. And that's exactly what the Democratic Party does, is they appeal to people's emotions in order to get votes. But people, you need to know, our government isn't successful based on emotion. You have to use logic and facts. And then, of course, he just accuses you guys of lying. And that's what the Democratic Party does.
Which is exactly what the Kamala Harris's new strategy is.
So, Megan, I hope you're with us in the 6 o'clock hour. If you were not, go back and listen to our last segment of that hour. We talked about how the strategy for the next 7 weeks, no matter what comes up with Kamala Harris, and I joked about it with Rhino. I was like, Rhino, make a point. He made a point, and I just go, liar.
Yeah, right.
That's how it's going to be. No matter what you bring up, it's just going to be told you're a liar. That's it.
Billy is in Canton. Billy, what's on your mind?
It just seems like everybody's voting on emotion. That last fella, it seems like he must have an Olympic-sized swimming pool full of soy sauce that he jumps in every night, because his emotions are controlling everything.
Yes, sir, Billy.
And I just...
Exactly right.
Now, Billy, I appreciate the call. I love soy. All right, just tell you.
Just being completely honest
Just going to be interested. Listen, there's already been tofu this morning, okay? I am kind of in that boat, but no, thank you.
David is in Kennesaw. David, what's on your mind, buddy?
Well,
as a lifelong conservative, I would like to offer an olive branch to Joey.
Okay.
Good. He is woefully uninformed, and all he has to do is go to Kamala Harris's webpage, and he'll see Joe Biden. Kamala Harris's policy.
That's right. Copy and paste it in there, David. That's exactly right. It's so good. David nails it again.
You don't think he'll do the research, I guess, huh?
Probably not going to. And then finally, Rex. Rex, let's get Rex on the phone, and
Good morning, Rex.
We'll move along. Rex, what's up?
Good morning, guys. I have a favor or a request to ask.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the lady talking about what's going on in Ohio this morning, but I'm driving around in my car, and in light of the conversation you just had with Joey, it illustrates perfectly why I'm asking this. Is there a link or a page, or can Los, the creator of my football Bible, create a link or a page where I can go and cut and paste the links to these articles and this information and send it to my liberal friends? They're liberal. They're not stupid. And quite frankly, let's face it, a lot of times you guys are preaching to the choir. I need to get the information out to the pews. Is there a way or a place that can be done?
Yeah, Rex, let's put you on hold. We'll get your contact information because surprisingly, we did the exact same thing with Talkmaster. Because part of what happened after that debate, Neil even was like, what is this stuff? We sent him police reports. We sent him videos. We sent him basically on the front lines of residents of Springfield that are saying, here's what's going on here. And interestingly enough, you can go to like Reddit or anywhere else. It's been going on for months. It's just that the national media would not cover what's happening there.
No, I mean, there's, I got a great alternative as well. Go to the App Store, copy the link, and send it to everybody that you want to send that information about, because that's what we do every single day, is we need to get people in here. We're more than welcoming to anybody who wants to call, whether it's John or Joe or Chap or Chip or anybody or Aunt Peg. If they want to be a part of it and they want to get involved, then by all means.
Or Peeps.
Or Peeps.
Well, no, Peeps is
cool.
apolitical, y'all. She just raises goats and chickens. That's all.
But I think it's great. We should have a newsletter, or maybe we'll find a spot on the website. We'll get Scott Maxim to build it for us, and we'll give you links.
For years you had, and he would charge for it. We'll do it for free. But Rush would always have his stack of stuff.
Yeah, the show notes. Yeah.
To this day, even when you follow our show, Glenn Beck does have a daily newsletter, and it's just here's the stuff that we might be talking about, and we do this on a nightly basis, a daily basis. So by the time we get to the end of the week, we probably have, 80 stories?
At least.
90 stories of things we might consider talking, and we get to like 20% of it.
That's exactly right. Probably even more, I would imagine. It's probably more. We do need to do a better job.
We should make that available to everybody.
Absolutely, we will. That'll be the next thing. And Rex, thank you for bringing it up. Thanks to Megan for calling. Thanks to Billy for calling. David, Rex, and Joey too, man.
Thank all y'all.
Yeah, Joey.
I have no ill will toward Joey.
Not at all.
I really don't. I
feel
disagree
sorry
with him.
I like the fact that Joey, obviously listening, but decided I'm going to call up and fight for my person. Now, all I'm going to say this, Joey, you're kind of jumping in the lion's cage. It does take some bravery. I'm glad you did it. But just bring a little bit more next time, because we want to have that discussion.
Yeah,
we want to talk policy.
Before you call us a bunch of MAGA Russians, look who endorsed your candidate.
As Putin's like, I really like Kamala Harris.
I like her communist ideas.
Well, I guess we could have put that in the stack of stuff, too.
Sure.
Putin pointed out, I think Kamala Harris is going to be the best option here.
For us, anyway, because this is going to allow us to continue doing what we're doing.
And by the way, he's endorsing the person who is talking about continuing a war against his country, and he looks at that as being better.
I love it.
You see the pretzel logic there?
You absolutely. You don't got to convince me, man.
A country like Ukraine full of Nazis. Awesome.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Donald Trump has made it clear the next debate and his call on that. Next on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, what sort of tear am I on this wonderful day? Once again, drug advertisements on TV. With the punchline, why do you think we have a drug problem? Instead of telling you the names of all of the prescription drugs that are advertised every night on network and other TV shows, let me tell you from observing these commercials all of the wonderful ways you can spend your day if you will just take these drugs. How do I know? Because the drug advertisements tell you so. You can spend the day shadow boxing or working out. Maybe skydiving indoors. You can also go dancing. You can have a really large outdoor party on your back lawn. You can go for a walk on the beach or bathe, or you can go to the swimming pool and do cannonballs. Wow! You can go skiing out there in Colorado. You can do outdoor yoga on a beach. You can walk your dog in a beautiful, beautiful park somewhere. You can go shopping with your daughter. You will have more friends than you can count, of all different colors, by the way, and your kids won't be fat, nor will you if you will just do the Jardians dance. Yes, your life will be perfect. No drudgery. No drug ad shows you doing dishes or vacuuming the house. Everything just turns perfect and wonderful. Just take our drug. Now you tell me, when an impressionable young kid sees this on TV every day, every night, tell me that they're not going to believe somehow that all they need to do for a wonderful life is just take drugs. And just think how much better things would be if they were just illegal. What a mess. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
Your Atlanta Braves are down to the final few series of the regular season, and they need you at Truist Park when the Dodgers come to town, September 13th through the 16th, followed by the Mets, September 24th through the 26th. Fans can look forward to some great giveaways, including the kids' rubber shoe charms for the first 3,000 kids, and the City Connect replica jersey presented by Xfinity for the first 15,000 fans. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase tickets starting at $9. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
And remember, she hasn't gotten a vote. She's never gotten a single vote. So this is the party of to save our democracy. Dear Lord.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by
Instead of building jets, they're holding signs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 33,000 Boeing workers started that strike just after midnight, most of them near Seattle, Washington.
The whole contract's unfair. They're taking too much away from us without giving us anything.
They want pensions brought back and 40% pay raises. Boeing's offering 25%. Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti reports it's the
first strike at Boeing since 2008 during the financial crisis that cost them $100 million a day. And it could throw a wrench in their already fragile supply chain. The strike will likely lead to a massive production delay at a time when they're trying to increase plane production. This strike affects the workers that make the 737 MAX.
Those are Boeing's most popular, and it's trying to fill thousands of orders. Former President Trump pushing a new proposal unveiled in Arizona to help hourly workers.
People who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them.
So Hill again today touted in Nevada a plan to eliminate taxes on that overtime income. Fox's Rich Edson reports.
The Harris campaign calls the pitch desperate and claims Trump's scrambling and says whatever it takes to try to trick people into voting for him. They also point to the Trump administration pushing a regulation to make fewer Americans eligible for overtime pay than the Obama administration had proposed. The vice president was also pitching voters on the economy at her rally in North Carolina.
His plan would reignite inflation and
and send us into a recession by the middle of next year.
The vice president will held two rallies in North Carolina. Today she'll campaign in Pennsylvania. She wants another debate with the former president. He says that's not going to happen. Britain's prime minister will go to the White House today, and as he and President Biden consider allowing Ukraine to use long-range American and British missiles to attack deeper inside Russia, prompting a warning from Russian leader Vladimir Putin. If they do that, NATO's at war with Russia. America's listening.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
You may have seen the Bortz billboard all across town. Let everyone know Bortz is back and his new home is Xtra 106.3.
Oh my gosh. Starting this Friday, bonus hour with the Dadgum Oak Ridge Boys. Let's freaking go. Some Bobby Sue. I love this song. We ain't gonna get nothing done because I don't want to hear the whole thing. I kid somewhat.
Let's go.
9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern. SouthernExteriors.co is their website. They were here visiting the other day. I encourage you to reach out to them. They will do a good job for you. Turn it up. All right, that's all I get. That's all I get because I'll be tempted to I'll turn this place into an iPod.
Listen, let's do it.
No, I'm telling you.
Let's do it.
This is what 9 o'clock on a Friday turns into.
It's just crazy.
The bonus hour gets a little bit more bonusy.
That song goes out to my friend Joe.
That's right, Joey. There we go. But it's funny that
bombed.
Yes, he kind of did. But
I feel bad, man.
Take it easy on him.
I like Joe.
I feel like he's probably a nice guy. I feel like he's probably a good dude. I just feel like he leads with his emotion. He doesn't let.
He's angry.
He's
angry at politics.
Donald Trump's angry. Is what he said.
Well, Donald Trump
at his rallies.
Well, Donald Trump is angry. He's angry that the United States has gone in a direction that's hurting.
You'll feel if you get shot.
Yeah,
he has a reason to be angry. 100%.
Hold on. Shot. Politically persecuted. Lawfare against you. Weaponization against you. Sued left and right. Oh, and the one reason they're coming after you is because you want to make America profitable. You want to make America great again. You want to make it peace throughout the world. That's why they hate you.
Healthy again. He and RFK have teamed up for healthy again as well.
Yeah.
And this wasn't, it's a little bit in a different direction, but I want to play a cut from Merrick Garland from his speech to, Well,
that was a fun one yesterday.
Well, but it was on the same topic that you just kind of, you broached a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that everything that Donald Trump has had done to him. Merrick Garland, speaking to federal employees and attorneys from across the country, wanted to make sure that everybody knows that, no, the DOJ will not be used as a tool to be weaponized against political enemies.
Over the past 3.5 years, I have spoken to you often about the importance of these norms. I know that to many outside of this department, they may seem abstract or even inconsequential. They are anything but, and they must not be taken for granted. For us, adhering to these policies, principles, and norms in everything we do is how we fulfill the promise that is foundational to our democracy, that all people will be protected equally under the law, and that all people will be held accountable equally under the law. Our norms are a promise that we will fiercely protect the independence of this department from political interference in our criminal investigations.
Which we know is not true.
Can I take out my Merrick Garland decoder ring?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. All right, here's how it goes.
Okay.
I'm about to launch some cases against some people that's going to look really political.
Yeah.
That's all he was saying there.
It's just setting you up. It's just like a volleyball. It's like a setter.
Like, I'm about to go after, and you're going to say, wow, this is really unfair. This is the government weaponized against you. This is lawfare. but he held that press conference just to be able to warm you up for it.
Let's make sure that we got this straight, though, because I think it's very important that he talked about, the justice system and applying everything equally. Like when Joe Biden and they did the report, they had the special inspector go in and find out that Joe Biden had classified documents, hid them, and did really bad things, wasn't supposed to be doing it. Very similar to what happened at Mar-a-Lago. In fact, they were strewn out all over, including in a garage.
Multiple places.
But they didn't prosecute him, did they? They didn't run because he's too old. Because he was too old. He was too old.
Too old.
But they had no problem because I've also heard the left tell me that, well, you could talk about his cognitive decline, but what about Donald Trump? I mean, he's just about the same age. So Donald Trump's too old? I mean, are we applying it the same way? Because it wasn't. No. The DOJ, in fact, went ahead and sent out other prosecutors. In fact, they sent out Jack Smith, which you can look at, figure it out. Joe, if you want, type this in. He was illegally handed that case, Jack Smith, by the DOJ, which is why the DOJ is being sued for not being correctly establishing that this was the special inspector.
There was no
prosecutor. I don't know why I said inspector. Yeah. I'm still waiting for an inspector general on Ukraine to find out where all Joe's money's going.
You're going to be waiting for a long time. But to your point, Los, that's the way it usually works, right? They come out and say, hey, this is what we will not stand for as they go and do it. It's here, look here, because this hand's going to be actually doing the things that we're saying we're not.
Yes. The move is typically, all right, who are you going after this time? Because obviously government has been weaponized against people that go and say anything about them in a negative light. They go after people that are trying to support, for instance, if you happen to stand in front of an abortion clinic and pray, well, you're going to find yourself catching a case there. You're going to find yourself 2 years in prison for doing something like that.
Lady from Collegedale, Tennessee, right up the road from where I'm from, is sitting in jail right now because of it after been doing that very thing in New York City.
And so what did they decide to do? What was the political way? Because remember, these people are now trying to hold on desperately to power. What are they trying to do to help them stay in power for another 4 years? That's all yesterday.
That's it.
And that meeting and that press conference was.
It's glorious, though, to hear him with such audacity to say, we refuse to do these things. Like they're above it,
Yeah.
We refuse to do these things.
We refuse to prosecute old people that are holding on to illegal documents.
That's right.
If they're old, we don't go after them.
But if they're, how much older?
Hold on. Wait, let's go back to the abortion clinic. If you just protest at night, like they bomb them.
Then they can't find you.
Then they can't find you, according to Merrick Garland.
That's what he said.
He said this is going on at night, so it's
having
too
a hard
much.
time.
We haven't had a hard time prosecuting.
Can't triangulate any of these people.
Yeah. That's the justice. They're mad about a man who bumped shoulders with another man or a woman that was walking in. She walked into him as they arrested him for bumping shoulders while he stood outside and had his right to protest. They arrested him. But they never go after the ones that have bombed any of these clinics. That's the justice system that we're talking about. That
the fair,
and
the blind
equal
justice
and blind. Yes.
I was listening to a little bit of Jesse Kelly yesterday as I was driving back from doing Chuck and Chernoff. I was like, all right, let me catch a little bit of this. And there was something he said. I probably got to listen maybe like 10 minutes, and he pointed out something that the more faith you put into a government institution, the more apt they are to lie to you. And so there are people that still look at the Justice Department and look at it completely differently from me. They go, oh, it's the Justice Department. I look at it as the clown show. So I don't buy into any of this stuff.
Absolutely.
I watch all. But if you happen to put a bunch of faith in it, and it's similar to whether it was the CDC during COVID, the FDA during COVID, if you were dealing with the Department of Justice and how they were going after Donald Trump, all these you look at as legitimate, understand they need your compliance to clown you.
I wish we would have asked Joe about the cocaine that was in the White House. This is the same people. This is the same people. This is the same people that say they couldn't figure out who that belonged to, knowing that the son's, the president's son is an addict. They would laugh in your face.
Yeah.
They're behind closed doors going, they bought it.
Yeah.
They're not even asking us to look for who brought this in here anymore. They believe that we can't figure out who in the most surveyed building in the world. They told you they couldn't figure out who brought the cocaine into the White House, and the first son is an addict. I'm not poking fun at his addiction.
We need to cut funding.
I'm poking fun at the stupidity that they treat us with at the DOJ.
No, they need to cut funding for the people that don't do their jobs then, right? I mean, if you can't figure this out, that's your one obligation. You need to cut that funding.
But how stupid do we look that we have accepted that?
Oh,
we've accepted it.
We look like the useful idiot if we continue to accept that and we allow that to happen. That's the problem. We don't. We talk about it. We talk against it, and we're the bad guys for it. That's why I'd be interested if Joe, if he just wants to call back, not to come on air, but I wonder what he doesn't like about Donald Trump. So, what is it? What is it that got him so upset? What is the one reason he doesn't like it? Is it the name calling? Is it the...
Well, no. What fired him up was us saying they were busing people into Kamala's rallies. That's what got him amped up.
No. I know that. I'm saying, why doesn't he like Trump? That's what I want to know. Why doesn't he like Trump? What turned him from, even giving Trump an opportunity to speak to him about what he'd do? I'd love to know that.
It's not hard. It's because he was told.
Yeah.
And that is how that mentality operates. There's not going to be a position that Donald Trump or anyone else is going to be able to take where they're going to say, here's what you should think about this. There's going to be that moment where I go, all right, I'll take that under advisement, and then I'll get around back to you.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, though, that want to be told what to think on a regular basis and how to feel. And so when you ask them questions, and that was the important thing of asking a question to somebody who calls in, when you're unable to articulate your response, it's because it's not yours.
Right.
You didn't think about it. Now,
you just got the emotional part.
Part of the reason why, and we joke around with Liberal John thinks about these things. Now, it might be contrarian to what I think. It might be a difference of opinion. It might in times be ill-informed on either side. But we've each thought about what our response to this stuff is.
Because he is able to articulate it.
And that is a difference of what goes on. There are these people that look to say, give me the download for the day.
Now, if you're Liberal John and you're like, look, I love socialism. I love the idea of socialism and what she's doing. Okay, at least you did the research and know, hey, this is socialism.
We have a difference of opinion, but
I don't like socialism.
But
you
can talk about it, why you like it, okay?
Right.
Killed 180 million people since 1900, just in case you're wondering about socialism.
But you know what? It's better for the earth.
As you called it many times.
It's better for the earth.
It's the truth.
It's a death cult.
It is, absolutely.
It's always been a death cult.
And it always will be.
But if you're going to call this radio station and call us a bunch of clowns or a bunch of losers or a bunch of MAGA communists.
I'll wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah, please.
And you're one reason, me too, because it doesn't bother me. But if you're going to do that and your only issue with Donald Trump is that he calls names, think about that first before calling.
Right.
Because your first thing when he came on was hate and anger towards someone. So if he's upset about hate and anger and thinking Donald Trump is the guy with hate and anger, look what you just did.
I don't recall I've ever called anybody a name who's called into the station. Now that I kind of think about it.
No.
I've
Besides
debated,
useful idiot.
I've discussed stuff. Well, that's technically a communist term.
Right.
I mean, that's Yuri Bezmenov explained why the KGB and why the communists depend on what they call the useful idiot. It's people that will progress their ideology without knowing it or without thinking about it. That's what they refer to them as. So it's not telling you you're an idiot. It's just the way the communist looks at it is there such a thing as they need useful idiots.
I'm surprised, though. I really am trying to wrap my head around how Donald Trump and Joey, on behalf of Kamala Harris, is that upset about talking about the size of crowds at a freaking rally.
I don't get it either.
Of all that, we've never had that many people call in at one time on this show since we've been around in 3.5 years. And we talk about crowd sizes, and everybody loses their minds.
No, I think a lot of this is in response to when somebody makes a contrarian point and they articulate it, even when we don't agree. And we have politicians that come on all the time and they'll say things and we don't agree with. And typically, of all people, Tug's the one who gets the hottest about it. He's like, damn it, answer the question. We shouldn't have him on again. That's kind of what happens behind the scenes. I'm not lying. And so the fun part about it is that when somebody joins the show and their entire thing is you people are horrible, but they can't tell you why.
Right.
That's what I think would set everybody off. It was, wait a minute, you can tell me that I'm a bad person, but explain me the reasons why you think that.
Yeah, it is very concerning to me that this is the kind of energy and the emotion that our politicians have put out for us. But the reality of it is the Democrats want to create a division. It's very easy for them to do. All they have to do is either come up with virtue signals or race bait you into these things. Because as much as we sit here and talk about these topics, we don't get to them because it's all driven by emotion of the left, and they don't want to see the facts or see how it's going to hurt them. And that really scares me because, like I said, if you're totally into socialism and you think, hey, I would like to give up everything that I have and only live with what I need and give what I can to somebody else so they can live right next to me in the same exact house, the same exact car, the same exact everything, fine, dude. Then you're voting for the right person. If you want to have nothing or the ability to grow, then that's fine.
Or
Vote
just
for
enough,
that.
whatever that means.
Right,
Just enough.
All right.
But who decides what's just enough? Why don't you get that decision? I'm fine with it. But to call here and just call names and do that, that's what the left wants.
Hang on, Los, before you start. He's about to put gasoline right on top of the fire.
So this comes from our man Mike, and he is pointing out, and this is somebody else that I do follow, and I just didn't jump into it. But so Tony Saruga is a guy. He's a data dude,
right? And a former contractor, NSA, CIA. So he's been part of the tracking, if you will.
He plugs into this stuff. For instance, hey, if you need to go track somebody down or track down a group of people, he can do that because he's got the GPS data.
Oh no, I just saw it.
We know a group. We know a
group that does this as well.
Absolutely.
And they do it to a level where they're not messing around, okay? So of the 5,000 people that showed up in Charlotte, North Carolina, remember I told you they were bussed in?
Joey, plug your ears.
3,600 came from Georgia. They were bussed in. And they can do that because they can track the GPS data. So
on your phone.
So of the 5,000, 3,600 were bussed in from out of state to attend a rally. When I tell you that this is astroturf, again, the numbers, 5,000, 3,600 bussed in from Atlanta. Where are the North Carolinians? Right?
720 from Savannah. That's all based on GPS data from locating devices on your phone. You know when you say yes, your phone can track you?
Wait, there were only 5,000 people at a rally?
Well, maybe it's a small.
It's a smaller venue.
Smaller venue.
It was a smaller venue.
Yeah, but I was told there was like 10,000 there.
Well, I never heard a number. I just saw the buses lined up, people getting off.
I mean, I don't care. Look, that's 5,000 people she's got in her pocket. That's great. I mean, those are 5,000 votes. It's important.
3,600 were bussed in from out of state in a state she's looking to win.
People in North Carolina were busy. They had things going on.
Don't give facts.
That's the Bojangles.
720 from Savannah, 3,600 came from Georgia, which I find funny because they got how many workers here in Georgia a few months ago? Over 12,000 workers. So I wonder who those 3,600 people they bussed in were. Were they regular voters or workers for the campaign?
Think about how upsetting that is when you point out she had 5,000. Good. And it looked good.
And all of them are going
it looked good. Good rally.
Doesn't matter where they came from. As Rhino's point is, they're all going to vote.
Don't care.
Sure.
Yep.
But when you talk about having to bus people in, you're not creating, in swing states, you're not creating the kind of energy where it's going to be that effective. Again, if I'm busing people in from New York into Pennsylvania to make it look like it's awesome, it's because I have to make it look like it's awesome because there's not enough people in Pennsylvania showing up for me.
Has there been any video of Trump rallies with buses in front of them?
No. I've been to.
How many have you been to?
I've been to 5 rallies now, and not just here in Georgia. No, 0 buses, 0. Except for there are people who bring buses to sell merchandise, but besides that, no buses. Greyhound or Harris campaign buses or Trump campaign buses are busing people in.
The Bicycle Express.
I was just wondering if because I've not seen any video, and I feel like if it were happening. That somebody from the left would be filming it and saying, look, this is what's happening.
Unless they're buses that bring in, because you have a lot of people set up like we do here, their own stations, their own thing, or their own products. That's the only buses I've ever seen.
One more time for the people in the back. 5,000 attendees, 3,600 bussed in from out of state.
720 from the campaign office in Savannah as well.
There you go. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the polling following the debate could be a bit of a gut punch for Donald Trump. Joey, listen up. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Doug, Rhino, and Los until 10. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Kamala Harris sees an end to right to work. No private sector worker will be allowed to avoid union membership and union dues if that's what the majority of his co-workers want.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, it's Mike with Atlanta Painting Company. In this fall, we invite you to transform your home. Our expert team brings color to life with top quality paints and flawless finishes, and leading the industry with our color consultants. Whether it's a fresh coat of paint for one room or an entire exterior makeover, the Atlanta Painting Company has you covered. So, trust the local pros for reliable, professional service when you need to revive your home or business. Find us at atlantapaintingcompany.com or call us at 1-800-PAINTING. That's atlantapaintingcompany.com. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Feeling the heat, Atlanta? Don't let it get you down. Stay cool with Carrier products from Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Their Carrier systems are designed to help keep you comfortable even during the hottest days. With advanced cooling technology, you'll enjoy a refreshing home no matter how high the temperature rises. And right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new Carrier system. That's right, up to $2,000 off to ensure you stay cool all summer long. Plus, their Carrier systems come with excellent warranties for added peace of mind. At Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they pride themselves on better service through knowledge. And right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new Carrier system. That's right, up to $2,000 off to ensure you stay cool all summer long. Turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts. Call 770-GET-HEAT or visit centralheat.com today.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Hey everybody, it's Neil Bortz, an actual attorney spokesperson for Van Sant Law. Notice the heavy traffic out there? Yep, school's back in session. Things can happen. Sometimes people aren't that careful. Maybe an accident. But David Van Sant, he's there to help smooth the way for you if somebody you love gets hurt. Call Van Sant Law at 855-GA-INJURY. 855-GA-INJURY. First call after 9/11, Van Sant Law. 855-GA-INJURY.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Oh man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turf off. Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast's leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Friday, September 13th. 21-year-old Jaden Lewis of Milton was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault for the killing of 46-year-old Justin Morning. Lewis is accused of opening fire while riding a motorcycle through downtown Alpharetta, striking Morning with gunfire. Morning was taken to the hospital where he later died. Investigators found multiple shell casings at the scene and believe the shooting stemmed from an argument. 2 Edwards Middle School employees were arrested after a security check. Rockdale County Sheriff's deputies arrested teacher Paul Schwartz and charged him with 2 counts of bringing a weapon onto school grounds after he was found in possession of 2 razor blade knives. His son, Paul Schwartz Jr., a contracted staff member, was charged with making threats. The school was briefly placed on lockdown. Rockdale County Schools stated neither man is still employed at the school. And the Atlanta Braves back at Truist Park tonight to open a 4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves, who are now in 3rd in the NL East and 1 game back of the Mets for the final wildcard spot, will have rookie Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound. First pitch scheduled for 7:20. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co.
There's this note in the Babylon Bee as of a few minutes ago, and it has a man at a grill, and it says, study finds 100% of men cooking on a grill just kind of moving meat around and hoping for the best. No, because you know those guys. There's a couple in your neighborhood where you're kind of like, hey man, you might want to turn that. But you can't touch another man's grill.
No, yeah, you never.
Last time I was at a friend's place, he actually told me, he was like, hey, those like Impossible Burgers, like you can do them on your own. I was like, okay, good. But I wouldn't have touched his grill otherwise.
Right. But I got to tell you, I don't know that I would know how to cook them either.
Sure, it's no different.
It's no different.
It's like 6-8 minutes aside. Just depends on the heat. That's all.
Now, do you do medium rare on those? Can you do medium rare? Or
you can, but the more you got to put a little char on them.
Yeah. Does that just make it more firm?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's not like a regular piece of meat where you go, ooh,
yeah.
taste
you
the
do
blood.
this for your gut health and for good reasons, not because
of being
I want that meat just bleeding down the sides of my mouth as I bite into it.
Me
man.
too.
I will bite a cow. That's why I'm not allowed on. That's why they put fences up so I don't
why they
run
don't allow you in
Was
Springfield, Ohio.
it
right.
Billy that was asking to jump in a pool of soy?
Yeah.
I was like, Billy, that would make my weekend, man. But no, like I just was reading out of the Babylon Bee and thinking to myself, I know those neighbors, where you're just like, hey man, like why don't you turn those wings a bit?
Yeah, come on, dude.
But I'm trying not to say anything.
Just a suggestion.
And it's worse when it's Rhino, because Rhino's been a professional at running kitchens and running restaurants.
You wouldn't need to tell him. No, he's good.
Well, but he has to keep it to himself.
I do get Aaron every once in a while like upset because I'm like, what are you doing? Don't
Not that way. Don't do it that way.
Oh God, get out of the kitchen. Get out of the kitchen.
Girlfriend Aaron can't cook.
Nah. No, yeah, she's got some, like just regular.
928. Send it to girlfriend Erin.
She's listening.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble already.
Like you've seen,
he was caught off guard by the question, so I want to be just for.
Yes,
she makes super breakfast, which is the greatest little thing that she can do that.
But girlfriend Erin throws those, like the, good hamburger on the grill, and then she squeezes all of it down.
No. She knows how to grill. That's one thing. Like I would trust her to do the grill. That I can do because she likes her meat like I do, and medium rare.
Are we getting this weather to clear out a little bit with these bands? Because
I think it's.
I want to get to that game tonight, but I don't think we're going.
Well, it's supposed to be a window tonight. That's what the Braves are saying. That the game with the Dodgers, it looks like there'll be a window to get the game in tonight, but it looks like we're going to be dealing just like with sporadic showers like all weekend.
You talked about not touching a man's grill. Can you touch someone's golf clubs? Or is that allowed?
No.
I mean, because
you have to be given permission.
I would think so too. That'd be another one. Yeah, I could see why. And look, I wouldn't. If I were a good golfer,
don't touch my wife. Don't touch my driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, you could touch my wife before you do my driver.
Dude, that's love right there. That is something that you don't get in between man and his grill, man and his wife, and man and his golf clubs. But Extra 106.3's got the 2024 green card. You can play 6 premier courses with a cart for just $249. It's a $600 value. Here are the clubs: Mystery Valley, Stone Mountain Golf Club, Sequoia National, Country Club of Gwinnett, Cherokee Run Golf Club, and Heritage Golf Links. $249, all 6 courses with a cart. You can get them now. The Extra green card now will sell out. Get ready. It's coming. It will sell out. And you can get it at extra1063.com.
This is version 2.
Yeah.
So the first version sold out extremely quickly. This one we just sold, I think, 10 or 12 in the last 24 hours. So you got to get on this. Like they're starting to pick up again. So get on this.
I don't know how they put this together, to be honest with you. Like how do you convince
Let me tell you.
Okay.
Our salespeople love playing golf.
That's
got a lot of friends.
So instead of being here, they're out playing golf, and they get a lot of friends at the courses, and they go, "Hey, I got an idea for you. Let's be a part of that." And you know what? It's a great deal, and it works out well for us. They just Gorman is one of our sales guys.
Yeah, Jason
he's
Gorman.
probably on a course right now. Actually,
I would imagine on a Friday, probably trying to beat the rain and get the round in. But yeah, so. Extra1063.com if you
That's
want
awesome.
To get that. It is. It's very cool. Fox has made a little bit of an adjustment to their forecast, but Georgia's the one I want to focus on, Ryan.
Yeah, listen, Georgia is one of the most important states, and God, Tug, this is all your fault once again because your
20 years ago, 25 years ago.
25, you just haven't stopped, and just wishing that we were a part of this whole political process, and now you got your wish. Fox News has changed the forecast for Pennsylvania and Georgia. Georgia, they're saying now is a toss-up state. I don't believe it. I believe that we are, and I think you do too at the same time, Tug, that we are a red state no matter what. Yes, we have Savannah, which is a little blue, and we have Atlanta that's a little blue. But I don't think that we're actually the toss-up state they think we are.
Well, it's been about a 6% differential. We talked about this in the past when it comes to registered Republicans versus registered Democrats. When we saw the margin of victory for Brian Kemp, it was a very comfortable 8%. Mm-hmm. All right. If you're telling me that this is going to be close, I still think that means 3 to 4%, which is most of the polls have said 3 to 4% based on that there will be some people that won't vote for Trump, and there's a lot of men who will not vote for Kamala Harris.
There's no doubt about it, but there's another thing that and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. It's not conspiratorial necessarily, but there's a little bit of me that goes when Fox says the same thing over and over and over again. They say, yep, Trump's winning. Everything looks good for Trump, whatever. How do they keep people listening? How do they keep people engaged?
Yes.
Because that's their job, right? And I had this discussion with my wife last night because she asked me about this polling too, and I said, look, maybe it's all in the up and up, and I'm not saying that they're manipulating, but they kind of are, in my opinion. If you move some of the questions, if you introduce more people that will sway a poll to do something, and you're paying for it, the pollster's going to do whatever you pay them to do. And if you can use that to engage people,
sure,
because there's nothing that will motivate people to watch you like fear, and Fox News is not above the fray to say, if we move this just a little bit, all of a sudden we've got new talking points for the next month.
I think they got stuck in their power rankings deal because when they first started it, they started using all 166 polls, and that's where the problem is with this, because as they go through all these polls and they look and they ask, and here in Georgia, who does the polling in Georgia? It's the AJC poll.
See, there you go.
So when you start to look at that poll and you use that poll based on what voters are going to go, or you go to the AJC, you know it's a slanted version of what a poll is going to be. Carlos is absolutely right. When you look at the margin of error and you look at actual, stats after and exit polls, you realize their numbers are going to be way off. There's no way that, look, is there any way that this could be a purple state again? Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like SB 202 and what the state election board has done has really helped secure the elections a little more. But in regards to the state being purple, I don't think it is. I think when you look outside the counties and even in Atlanta now, you're going to see a lot more red.
You want to pull back the curtain here?
Please do.
Because we're in Super Bowl season. This is election season. This is part of what's going on. And I do recall that when Joe Biden got into office, the first thing that cratered was CNN and MSNBC and everybody else's numbers. They just cratered because they lived off of Donald Trump. They lived off of the fear, the angst, the anger of what he was going to do. And it's the worst thing since Hitler. And it built up all of this rage. I think Fox News is also in the business of telling you, hey, look out, it's really good. Hey, make sure you stay here for all the latest. That is part of what goes on. Now, we have 4 hours. So we don't really have to jump into that sort of stuff. But when you got 5 minutes and you're Fox News, this is the sort of stuff that you do. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game. And that's the reason
I think Pennsylvania is, more of a toss-up. I really do believe that. But even I think is skewing more towards Trump at this point, especially with the energy ideas. I think Ohio, that's going to be one that's going to be really, I don't trust Ohio at this point, but they're much more conservative. They get a good conservative governor, but I don't know about those. I do know about Georgia, and Georgia shows me that we are a red state, and we're getting redder every day.
Well, the numbers show as of now, and we'll see how this all plays out, that it's supposed to be a comfortable victory when I say comfortable, it's like 3%.
Sure.
It's not down to 30,000 votes. but Georgia, North Carolina. The question becomes, because Pennsylvania's looking better and better, the question becomes, if you get all those, well, then it's already over. It's already done. But if you don't, the toss-up is Michigan. Michigan is the one where it's within 1%, and oddly enough, Wisconsin's like 1.5% as well. Either way.
But again, the margin of error would help Donald Trump over Kamala Harris in those races. So when it's a 3.5%, you're looking at, Donald Trump might actually win this by 4%.
But remember, critical factor here.
Yeah.
There's one state that is going to have RFK Jr. on the ballot as of right now.
Yep.
It's Michigan.
Michigan. For a reason.
Because they fought to keep him there.
Absolutely.
They know why.
Yeah, of course they know why. It's so frustrating to it. It's one thing to flip-flop, but to flip-flop in the middle of flip-flopping, if that makes any sense.
We don't want him on the ballot.
Yeah.
Don't have him on any ballots.
Yeah.
Dang it, we have to put him on the ballot.
Keep him on the ballot.
Let's make sure we keep him on the ballot.
Let's keep him on the ballot. Keep him on the. But that other guy that's going to take votes away from us, let's get him off the ballot.
Yeah, but if you could get Trump off the ballot, then you could keep RFK on or off. We don't care at this moment.
Exactly right.
But how wild is that RFK Jr. went through the process of having to work so hard to get on ballots, and then by the time that he is lining up behind Trump because of what he believes is going to happen, now he has to fight to get off of the ballots. The Democrats are like, you're not allowed to go. You're not allowed. They were fighting harder to get Trump off ballots. They're like, no. You know what they've turned into? You know that meme of when you have Rick James when it's played by Dave Chappelle welcoming you in. They're like, no, stay here.
Actually,
stay with us.
happening here
You cannot leave.
Yeah,
don't even stay. You cannot leave.
It happened here too. Raffensperger is he gets sued to get him off the ballot because they're like, I don't think his residence is right. We're suing. We want RFK Jr. off the ballot, and he's like, all right, well, we'll get on. Let's look into it, and we have to go through the proper motions and get this done, and then he announces like, hey, we're going to take RFK Jr. off the ballot. The same Democrats come in and go, no, there's no precedent for that.
I want to ask you all about the View. And
please do. It's a wonderful show.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because Usher was on the other day, and Usher claims Atlanta's home. Yeah, he's from Chattanooga, but he claims Atlanta's home, which is fine. But he was on there talking about his tour. He's talking about his partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, and he's just talking about all kinds of things. Joy Behar set him up to spike it down.
Let's go.
With his endorsement of Kamala Harris, but didn't go quite as well as she thought.
He is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be and find the candidate that you feel fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
They were waiting on him to go, and Kamala Harris is the way I'm going to vote. And he never gave it to him.
What a loaded question.
Yeah.
And what a genius response.
Yeah.
Like, I want to sell Nikes too. I'm Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Everybody's buying.
No, he's brilliant. But that's what, look, this is exactly what the left is. And the funny part is, I'm not going to get on Joy Behar, Sonny Hostin, and all of them because they're not journalists, and they never claim to be journalists.
Sure.
So they are opinionists, and they're
entertainers,
and they're entertaining. So they're pandering to their cackling hens. It's perfect for them. So I'm not mad that she asked it that way. I wouldn't expect it any other way.
If I was to ask Joy Behar, based on your history of being an unfunny comedian and an overall not smart person, what is your favorite Kamala Harris policy? Okay, them's the loaded question. And there's a reason why I always say reject the premise. She set up the premise, and he quickly rejected it. Reject the premise because they're drawing up the battlefield from which you have to fight.
But your
from.
question's actually a good question, right? I mean, is that really loaded? Because what if I said
half was loaded?
Is what?
all
based on you not being a funny comedian or a person in general.
That punch in the face was.
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
But if you change that and just go, Kamala Harris, she's energy is great for Kamala. I know a lot of people are into her. Tell me, what's your favorite part of her policy?
Yeah. And you get the same thing you got.
Then you get Joe.
Joey, yeah.
I like America. She likes America,
and she hates Russia. And y'all are Russian
hates
agents.
Russia, and you're a bunch of Russian communists.
That's right. Crickets are everywhere.
Huh. Thanks, Joe. What a wonderful call.
Thank you for.
I bet you feel great about that call now.
No, don't yell at it. Don't make fun of it.
I'm not making fun of him.
You may never call back.
Oh, please. Yes, bring us. Call back, Joe.
Anytime you'd like to. Any,
so dumb.
Board up going Captain Virgin River.
That
Come
was
on.
Joey, not me.
Yeah, that was.
I don't think Joe's
And Joe's
done.
not even a conservative, and he's still making fun.
I think Joe is just misinformed. That's all. He's not stupid in any regard. Our Joe's dumb.
No, he's not.
What? Oh,
No,
sorry.
he's not. No, he's giving me face.
He's drooling on the board right now. We have to clean him up.
That's right. And so we'll probably need to take a break here. But I would point out, though, that Caitlin Collins was asked the same thing in a press conference. She gave the same kind of, what could I say, Collins? Oh, sorry. Caitlin Clark, the basketball player, asked the same question. She basically sidestepped it and said the same thing that Usher did. Go vote. It's important. You should go vote. But she didn't endorse a candidate like they wanted her to do. Then, when Donald Trump was asked about the Taylor Swift thing, he was like, I like Brittany Mahomes better. And we didn't get a chance to get into that.
Funny.
That is so funny if you get a chance to go. I think
better looking.
That's right. And Patrick handled it very, very well because he said, I'm pretty apolitical. You know? And that you're seeing a lot more of that with celebrities, which I think is smart. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Creative minds with a whole lot of time on their hands have created a new Trump song. Get ready to spit out your coffee. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
The left-wing media is pushing counterfeit polls and bogus headlines, all while ignoring the stories that matter most. Trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the real truth without the media spin. The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, and the voices you need most are all on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months right here on Extra 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. The Safe House crew hopes everyone is enjoying their vacation this summer. We know the criminals are watching and waiting for you to leave so they can bust in and steal your stuff. But hey, there is a solution. Come purchase a quality safe from Atlanta Safe House. And with summer rebates and specials, you can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a quality safe. And remember, don't let an illegal or crackhead deliver or move your safe. They could very well know your combination. So drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
When it comes to protecting your assets and ensuring peace of mind, trust the expertise of Nelson Eldercare Law. Our Absolute Protection Trust is designed to provide unparalleled asset protection. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to discover how our specialized services can safeguard your family's future and assets, offering you the assurance you deserve. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
A musician with technical knowledge can play all the right notes. But one who cares enough to play from the heart gives music soul. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Jim Niarchos here with exciting news. The All Four Seasons Home Show returns to Atlanta Radio this Saturday morning at 9, bringing you advice and tips from some of Georgia's top business owners. Join Dan Watkins and myself when we will be helping you make smarter purchases, save money, and keep from getting ripped off. That's the All Four Seasons Home Show every Saturday morning at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Oh man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm I'm going to tell her to turf off. Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Xtra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you the legend Neil Vortz, a live and local news talk show on your ride in, and the Kimmer Show every afternoon. Be here at 3 for the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Y'all, I have breaking news. Before we get to the song inspired by the debate, ABC's David Muir says he has accepted a second debate with Donald Trump. That's the breaking news.
Wait.
He's ready to go. He'll sit down and debate Donald Trump.
David Muir.
It's a joke. It's a good. I guess it was.
I like it.
Okay.
I
got
I was
it.
picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, all right.
Well, I was wondering why his counterpart's not joining too.
Right. Well, she's probably been. Yeah. Thank you.
I told you the meme from 2 days ago that was very funny. The cartoon that had David Muir and Lindsay shoulder pads arguing with Donald Trump, and Kamala Harris on the next picture that just says, "Do y'all still need me?"
Seriously. And the Babylon Bee one that was like them. They called a timeout to huddle up.
Yeah, we get a timeout so we can plan out the next one. It's like, that was pretty funny.
So good. Yeah.
Well, at least everybody got it. You know, I think it took like I said, I thought it was going to take 24, 36 hours. I think it took right around there before everyone kind of, calmed down, took a lay of the land, and said, "Wow, look what this thing turned into. Look what it was. It was just what it." And
guilty myself because I was just like, "Oh my god!"
But then you went back, checked it out, and you were like, "Wait a minute, like it was insane."
But I understand why it happens to people though, because it happens to me too. I fall into the same traps.
But you also look at things analytically, and you look. I guess the part that, as we wrap up this whole week, because we talked about how big it was going to be. On Monday, we knew it was going to be big, and then it was rolling through. We thought it was going to be so influential, and it turns out it was for 2 reasons. It caused people to look at what Donald Trump was bringing up where maybe they'd never heard of it, and it also caused people to say, especially independents, why is she not telling me anything?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she continuing not to answer questions or tell me anything?
That's why the Reuters snap polling showed that 60% of independents were going to vote for Donald Trump in their discussion, in their snap polling with those people they were talking to during the debate. And then 20 said they were going to vote for Kamala, and 20 remained undecided. So it just shows you exactly what's happening. It's not like Reuters is going out of their way to help Donald Trump in any way. They had no other choice but to report what was happening in front of them with the people that they had asked.
Yeah, look, I think the obvious thing is that a lot of people are quiet about which way they're going to go to vote right now, and I think they're going to stay that way. Neither candidate, in a lot of people's mind, is good for this country, and so some people won't even say it. But I think there's a lot of people who go, well, I watched what Kamala Harris said, and the only things I got out of her is none of her policies actually affect most of the American people in this country. Not one that she's put forth of an idea actually affects more than a small percentage, like 1%, maybe up to 3 or 4%. That's it. When in reality, we saw what Donald Trump did. Maybe they're saying I don't like him, but they will quietly go vote for him. And I think that's going to show a lot when this election is over.
We have talked about the importance of the economy, that when all the polling across every single state continues to have it as 40 or 45% in terms of the total electorate, that's what they care about the very most. And it's 4 times what anything else is. So when you look at the dial system, this is where you will have independents, Republicans, and Democrats will turn the dial up or down as they're watching a debate to basically signify, here's what I'm into, here's what I'm not. This dial system. When Kamala Harris started talking about how Donald Trump has no economic plan for you, the Democrats all went up, and the independents and the Republicans all went the exact same way of, that's not true.
Yeah, meaning going the other
and they
direction
were
with their
together in their disdain for what she was talking about at that moment.
Another really telling thing, and I'm not on TikTok, but you can go check it out if you are. ABC posted the closing statements for Donald Trump's wrapping up his closing statements at the debate, and then they also posted the closing statements from Kamala Harris. Donald Trump's this is on ABC's TikTok.
Yeah,
not Trump's. This is ABC. Donald Trump had 23.3 million views so far on ABC's TikTok. His closing statement. Kamala Harris 4.4 million. People are less interested in what she's got to say because she's not saying anything.
It was 4 times the amount the day after. And then that trend has stayed the same. When I talked about saving the best for last because that's the way people consume politics, I think that's a perfect example of it. People wanted to listen to their closing statements. Let me hear 2 minutes of what they have to say. And you see a far more larger amount of interest, 5-6 times as much as what you have with Kamala Harris.
6 times is the number right now. 23 million, 23.3. And this is, again, ABC's TikTok. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
23.3 million and 4.4 for Kamala. It's just the interest is not there in her. That's why they have to bust people into her debates. Or her campaign stops and rallies.
You're going to get Joe all upset.
I did that on purpose. I was kidding. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, God.
5,000 people who attended in North Carolina yesterday. 3,600 were bussed in from the state of Georgia.
Oh, no.
That's according to the GPS data of where they came from.
Here we go. The phone's starting to line up already.
I just know that I've never gotten on a bus
ever
to go to a campaign rally in another state.
I've
never been to a campaign rally.
I was about to say that. I've never been, and I have no desire to go. I just no desire to go to a campaign rally whatsoever. I know how I believe. I know how I'm voting. I don't need to go and rah-rah. I don't need to go and cheerlead. And that's not to disparage anybody that goes, but go and enjoy yourself and learn and do anything you want to do. Rhino goes. And I don't disparage Rhino for going. I'm just saying for me, it's just not anything I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going. But
there's football on, man.
Right, there's plenty.
Yeah, look, I don't go for. I enjoy going just to speak to people,
yeah,
and
sure.
I go for journalistic integrity. No, I go as somebody who works in the media more than anything else, and to film it and to show. But I do enjoy going because you know what? It is fun. There's a lot of music that's being played. I get to go around with Americans who see the country in a good way.
In a positive light, the way you do.
Yeah, in a positive light, and don't want to go down a path of darkness that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have brought upon us over the 3.5 years that I've gone through it. What I've seen is happiness at these rallies. What I see from this administration is misery and being able to try to afford things for my family.
I want to play you a song that has been created, and there's several of them. This is just one that I grabbed. Song that I found myself nodding my head to a little bit, and it all is based on the debate from Tuesday night.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
I mean, it just goes on and on and on, but it's just a beat behind that, and these things have blown up all over social media. I bet there's 100 of them.
So I don't know who that one came from. Apparently, the only reason I know about this other one, so the red-headed libertarian had tweeted this out.
Do you have it? Do you have this one too?
I can track it down. I'll send it to Joe. There was apparently some person who considers themselves a socialist, then they created something, and apparently it went so well that they basically were like, dude, this is awesome for Trump. And again, he thought he was doing something mean to Trump.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And they're like, no, this is awesome.
Like trying to put him in jail or giving him a mugshot. Like they were trying, Rhino, to do something that would be detrimental, that would hurt him, and did the exact opposite. Same
and that's great. You know what? Let's trigger liberals with all this. I just saw a really funny meme of a Chihuahua with a M16, and it says 2 tours in Springfield changes you, dog. It's got a cigarette hanging out its little mouth. Liberals, you'll get triggered by this.
Yeah, no kidding. I never in a million years
That's
would have
so funny.
suspected that crowd sizes would have gotten so many people triggered this morning. Thanks to everybody who called. Good Lord. We never had that many calls on one segment ever today. And we had our biggest listening day of all time on Wednesday morning. Yep. It's all because you're here, and we appreciate you caring about the country the way that we do. For Rhino and Los and Board Op Captain Goey Virgin River, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear? Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Jen Psaki, holy cow, Jen Psaki's a former White House liar, now a liar for MSNBC. And they were talking and